What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
2 milliliters. Chapter 26. Way, I want it. Please give me flowers. Please give me a review vote. Please give me a collection. Cloud Shinobi Village was founded on a mountain that towers into the clouds, and many places are filled with clouds and mist, hence the name Cloud Shinobi Village. A team of 3 ninjas were on their way back to the village. The 3 of them climbed a hillside and looked up to see the iconic towering cloud peak of Cloud Shinobi Village. We're finally going to the village. Wooden Golem, the second member of the group, sighed. The other 2 teammates also looked happy, and one of them even said happily, I'm getting married this time when I return to the village, and Lord Wooden Golem is coming over for a wedding banquet. By Wooden Golem, although he is a second-tailed Jinchuriki, he does not have any psychological problems like other Jinchuriki in the ninja village. He is gentle and kind. After hearing his teammates' words, Wooden Golem also nodded happily. Just when the team was filled with a happy atmosphere, a sudden change occurred. A figure fell from the sky and blocked the path of the 3 people. Who? The person who came was a young man with black hair and black eyes, a handsome face, and an evil smile at the corner of his mouth. There is no forehead protector, nothing that can represent his identity, and only a retro light armor that attracts attention. Who is coming? Tell me your name. Wooden Golem felt the dangerous aura of the coming person and was very alert. By Wooden Golem's 2 teammates were grumpy, and one of them asked sharply, which village are you from? And you're still hiding your forehead protector. Uchiha Xiao didn't reply, he only saw his hands forming a seal, and in an instant, 4 ferocious fire dragons spurted out. Fire-style Long Yan Xing's technique. Uchiha Xiao's hand seal was so fast that when the 2 ninjas reacted, they could only cast a water style in a hurry. Water-style Water Horn. Water spurts out of the caster's mouth, forming a trumpet shape. Water defeats fire. This is an iron law that every ninja knows. However, in front of this absolute flame, this small amount of water is of no help. There was a burst of steam, and then the fire dragon broke through the water horn and hit the 2 Cloud Shinobi. Ah! The 2 men's bodies were covered with flames and they let out shrill screams. Then their screams stopped abruptly because their vocal cords were burned by the flames. After a while, 2 masses of charcoal appeared on the ground. Wooden Golem quickly distanced herself from Uchiha Xiao. The scene where her teammates invited her to attend the wedding was still in front of her, which made her burst out with sad and angry questions. Who are you? Uchiha Xiao looked into Wooden Golem's eyes, and he seemed to be able to penetrate Wooden Golem's heart. The one inside you knows who I am. By Wooden Golem was about to say something, when an indescribable feeling arose spontaneously. This is Matabi's way of conveying her emotions, but this time, the feeling Matabi gave her was something she had never felt before. Matabi seems to be scared. At this critical moment, Wooden Golem could not ask Matabi clearly, so he had to be extremely vigilant in his heart. 2 tails, I want it. Uchiha Xiao's voice was unmistakable, like an emperor's. By Wooden Golem snorted. Over the years, countless people have coveted her Jinchuriki identity, and many people have come directly to seize it, but without exception, they have failed. But the man in front of him dared to speak nonsense at such a young age, and Wooden Golem sentenced Uchiha Xiao to death from the bottom of his heart. Uchiha Xiao was not annoyed when Wooden Golem didn't answer, but instead put on a taijutsu posture. You have such a powerful fire style, but you choose to fight me with physical skills. Are you looking down on me? Wooden Golem was thinking in his heart, but at this moment, the feeling of Matabi in his heart became bigger and bigger. This time, the feeling turned into a strong sense of crisis, as if to remind Wooden Golem. Run away. Just when Wooden Golem was surprised by Matabi's feeling, Uchiha Xiao moved. Uchiha Xiao's fist seemed to fly towards him, but Wooden Golem hurriedly blocked it. Whoosh! Bang! A visible circular wave appears, and then a cyclone bursts out of it, swaying the surrounding vegetation. In the end, Wooden Golem couldn't resist and took several steps back. She shook her numb arms, feeling horrified in her heart. Combining speed and strength, this man is not only good at fire style, but also surprisingly good at physical skills. However, Uchiha Xiao's attack was not over yet. He stepped on the ground, a small pit appeared on the ground, and he continued to fly towards the Wooden Golem. Wooden Golem was also very energetic at this time, using his hands and feet to resist the attack of Universe Boxiao. However, Uchiha Xiao's taijutsu skills are not perfect. In his early years, he fought with various taijutsu masters. He relied on Sharingan to reproduce many moves. At this moment, these moves were displayed on Uchiha Xiao's powerful body, and they immediately exploded with 10 or even 12 points of power. Uchiha Xiao's powerful punches and varied moves made Wooden Golem quickly unable to withstand her. In just a few rounds, she was knocked to the ground by Uchiha Xiao. Uchiha Xiao's eyes widened and he extended a quick palm. Just as this palm was about to hit Wooden Golem's throat, a blue flame suddenly appeared and burned Uchiha Xiao's hand. Uchiha Xiao immediately put away his offensive and took a few steps back. Wooden Golem also took the opportunity to get up from the ground, and the chakra on her body began to riot. Tailed beast transformation. The wooden golem's chakra began to become violent, and a blue cat tail also appeared on her tailbone. By wooden golem spits out a ball of rat-like blue flames without saying a word. Fire rat jade. The fire rat jade suddenly exploded in midair and turned into small fireballs. These fireballs seemed to be conscious and attacked Uchiha Xiao from all angles. Uchiha Xiao chuckled, then formed a seal with his hands. Wind style. Vacuum waves. Uchiha Xiao followed suit and directly stole the technique Danzo used yesterday. Several thick and sharp wind blades sliced straight through. Bang, bang, bang. The two collided, and the fireball instantly exploded into beautiful balls of blue flames. Bang. Seeing that his attack was ineffective, wooden golem made a disdainful sound. Base. I saw wooden golem waving his hands, revealing sharp claws like Wolverine, or cat claws to be precise. The bonus of the two-tailed chakra is in terms of speed. With the blessing of the two-tailed chakra, the claw-wielding wooden golem is like a fish in water, turning into an afterimage and launching a torrential attack at Uchiha Xiao. Uchiha Xiao raised a sword finger, and the chakra on his body began to mobilize. Blinking technique. The sharp claw missed and hit a big tree. Boom. Deep claw marks appeared on the surface of the big tree, and then it collapsed to the ground. Wooden golem is a bit unbelievable. He has always been very confident in terms of speed, especially with the blessing of the second tail. Hokage also rated the speed of wooden golem very highly. Only the late yellow flash can catch up with your speed. And now, an unknown person whose speed far exceeds hers appears. How can this not surprise her? However, Uchiha Xiao didn't give her time to be surprised. He came to wooden golem's side, lifted his feet and volleyed hard. Boom. By wooden golem's body flew out like a cannonball, breaking several trees before stopping. Wow. Wooden golem squatted down and spat out a mouthful of blood. She felt that her whole body hurt now, and it seemed that she even had a few broken ribs. How long has it been since she suffered such an injury? Not even she remembers it. She raised her head and looked at Uchiha Xiao, who was running quickly, and the fighting spirit in her heart was burning. Matabi, it's up to you. Chua. Blue flames spread all over wooden golem's body. Chapter 27. Could it be that this is the legendary sage of six paths? Please give me flowers. Please give me a review vote. Please give me a collection. Oh, the half-tailed beast has transformed. Uchiha Xiao stopped and observed the state of wooden golem. The surface of the wooden golem's body showed a fiery blue cat demon pattern called chakra. The hair that was originally tied up was all spread out, and his pupils turned frighteningly white. It's like a completely different person. In this regard, Uchiha Xiao also praised it. The control over tailed beasts is pretty good, much better than one tail and nine tails Jinchuriki. Listening to Uchiha Xiao's words, wooden golem's heart rang with alarm bells. It seems that this man has fought against Jinchuriki from one tail and nine tails, and he must have a better understanding of tailed beasts and Jinchuriki than ordinary ninjas. It's a bit tricky. With this thought in mind, wooden golem put her claws on her chest and planned to take advantage of her speed again. As soon as she stepped on her feet, a whirlwind arose on the spot, and her figure disappeared. Call out. Due to wooden golem's speed, she turned into a blue meteor and shot straight towards Uchiha Xiao. The power of this move was more powerful than any of the previous moves. She was very confident in her attack. She could guarantee that not even Hokage could withstand this attack. However, what she expected did not happen. The handsome man showed an evil smile, and then red light poured on him. Susa, Nohu, skeleton, flesh, and armor were quickly formed with a burst of red light, and a 100-meter-tall giant stood tall. Boom. The claw strike hit Susanoo hard, a huge sound echoed on the battlefield, the strong wind caused by the impact exploded from it, and the blue flames disappeared in midair. The hard Susanoo also developed a crack under wooden golem's attack, but this did not make wooden golem happy. What kind of technique is this? By wooden golem looked up at the towering Uchiha Xiao, her trembling lips revealing the panic in her heart. How could a human being possess such a technique? How is this technique different from tailed beasts? By wooden golem. Matabi's cry rang in his heart, and wooden golem woke up from a dream. He flew backwards and distanced himself from Uchiha Xiao. The red giant remained motionless and did not attack her. Wooden golem could not figure out what he was thinking, but one thing she could confirm was that this man wanted to seize her tailed beast. This is completely intolerable. Thinking like this, wooden golem seemed to have endless anger burning in his heart. Matabi. As she screamed up to the sky, the blue flames that were originally just a coat covered wooden golem's whole body. At this moment, she was like a dancer bathed in blue fire, dangerous and beautiful. Ninja technique. Complete tailed beast transformation. First, a blue flame rose up, and then a cat demon with blue flames appeared in front of him. By wooden golem has no ink. After completely transforming into a tailed beast, he immediately uses his strongest moves. Tailed beast bomb. When Matabi heard this, he opened his mouth wide, and then the yin and yang chakra ball compressed in a 2:8 ratio quickly took shape. The power slowly gathered in his mouth, and the degree of danger gradually increased. And Uchiha Xiao, like an outsider, commented on Matabi's tailed beast bomb. As expected of the perfect Jinchuriki, the power of the tailed beast bomb is already very close to that of the tailed beast itself. Call out. The tailed beast bomb was launched, leaving no grass growing wherever it passed, and a harsh roar sounded in the air. At this time, Wooden Golem discovered that Uchiha Xiao didn't even have the slightest feeling of running away. Uchiha Xiao faced the tailed beast bomb and raised his right hand. At the same time, Susanna outside held the Onikiri and raised his right hand. What is he going to do? Wooden Golem was horrified by Uchiha Xiao's actions. What is this man going to do? Fight against a tailed beast bomb. In her impression, no one in the entire ninja world could stand up to the tailed beast bomb. Could it be that he thought he was the legendary sage of 6 paths? However, the next scene caused her worldview to collapse. Chapter 28. I have no obligation to explain to you, I accept your tailed beast. Please give me flowers. Please give me evaluation votes. Please give me my favorites. Fang, Onikiri, streaked straight across the tailed beast bomb. For a moment, the tailed beast bomb seemed to be frozen in midair. The next second, a hole suddenly opened in the middle, and a dazzling white light emerged from the hole. Wooden Golem stares closely at the tailed beast bomb that emits white light, and explodes quickly. As long as it explodes, that man will be blown to pieces. Unfortunately, it backfired. The tailed beast bomb was like a ball, deflating with just one blow. The same goes for the tailed beast bomb. It did not explode. The blue and purple chakra escaped from the cracked opening and turned into a strong wind, dissipating in midair. Wooden Golem watched this scene without saying a word for a long time. She had been surprised more times today than she had been this year. But there is nothing she can do. The enemy is facing her. If she doesn't attack him, he will attack him. Roar. Matabi spit out a huge fireball from his mouth. In this tickling attack, Susanoo just waved his hand and swatted the fireball away like a fly. Uchiha Xiao murmured. The second tail is still too weak. It would be a big loss if I accidentally kill it with Susanna. Thinking like this, with a thought, the red Susanoo immediately dissipated, and he fell from the air. What does this mean? Has the chakra been exhausted? Wooden Golem was confused, but when she saw Uchiha Xiao's confident look, she became wary again. I wonder if this man has any other tricks up his sleeve. However, she misunderstood Uchiha Xiao. Uchiha Xiao simply didn't want to beat her to death. But since there is no longer the protection of that strange giant, then the defense power will be greatly reduced. With this in mind, Wooden Golem continued to release the tailed beast bomb, but it was a smaller one. Boom, bang, boom, bang, boom, bang. After several shots, Uchiha Xiao dodged left and right, and he also took this opportunity to come to Wooden Golem. Uchiha Xiao did not perform any ninjutsu, but simply raised his fist. Fist. Punch a fully tailed Jinchuriki. However, the next second, a visible blue light appeared in Uchiha Xiao's fist. Tongtian Fist. Tongtenquan is a taijutsu style of Senju style, which he secretly learned from Senju Hashirama. It focuses the chakra a little and then explodes it. It is a physical technique unique to the Senju clan. If you have strange power, its power will be even greater. Uchiha Xiao has no magical powers, but he has the ultimate understanding of taijutsu and the ultimate control of chakra. In these two aspects, the power of Tongtian Fist in his hands reached its ultimate. Boom. An exaggerated explosion sounded through the sky, and a ball of blue chakra gathered on the fist, exploding the moment the Wooden Golem was released. Wooden Golem's body flew a long distance, and then made a deep hole in the ground. Wooden Golem struggled to get up, but the black figure was already standing beside her. Just when Wooden Golem wanted to make a move, she noticed that the man's eyes had a strange red light. Wooden Golem looked at his hands in surprise. The chakra outer layer disappeared instantly, while the Matabi inside his body was completely motionless, as if he had fallen into a deep sleep. Wooden Golem turned her attention to Uchiha Xiao, who had just clearly seen the pair of enchanting Sharingan. Who are you? What is your purpose of taking away the tailed beast? Wooden Golem's fist hit Uchiha Xiao randomly. Obviously, the threat of death made this woman nervous. I have no obligation to explain to you, your tailed beast, I accept it with a smile. After saying that, Sharingan spun quickly, and he got into the inner world of Wooden Golem. Chapter 29. Reina, long time no see. Please give me flowers. Please give me a review vote. Please give me a collection. The sky is clear and the wind is gentle and gentle. At the border of the Kingdom of Fire, a figure flashed across quickly. Uchiha Xiao finally stopped on a wasteland, and a huge cave suddenly appeared in front of him. It's not changed from decades ago. Uchiha Xiao murmured, then raised his feet and went deep into the cave. There is nothing in the cave, no beasts inhabiting it, no traces of life, not even the most basic dust. It seems that someone has used some means to make this place spotless. Uchiha Xiao walked to the center of the ground and saw a tablet erected in front of him, with densely packed strange words written on it. This is the barrier of the Uchiha monument. Only those with Sharingan I power reaching a certain level can break the barrier. Facing this monument, Uchiha Xiao input chakra into Sharingan, and Sharingan's pupil power began to reach ultimate. With the release of the pupil power, a dense array of spells suddenly appeared on the ground, and its scale even spread all over the entire ground. If there were ceiling class ninjas from various major ninja villages present at this time, and seeing this huge and complicated technique, they would sincerely marvel at the caster's ultimate understanding of the sealing technique. Uchiha Xiao formed a seal with both hands. The steps of the seal were as complicated as this complicated technique. 1 minute later, the seal was opened and Shikai was removed. As Uchiha Xiao's hands stopped moving, a burst of pink light suddenly appeared from the technique on the ground. The light became more and more intense, illuminating the entire cave with incomparable light, as if a sun suddenly appeared in the cave. At this time, the ground suddenly collapsed, and a large platform slowly rose. After a closer look, 2 coffins were placed in the center of the platform. The coffin was transparent. Uchiha Xiao looked at the coffin at first glance and saw a beautiful, pure and lovely girl lying inside. The girl's face was rosy, and she didn't look like a dead person. Instead, she looked like she had just fallen asleep. People couldn't bear to make a sound to wake her up when they saw her. Reina, long time no see. Uchiha Xiao's eyes that had always been indifferent finally showed a rare tenderness. If this scene was seen by the people who died at the hands of Uchiha Xiao, they would not believe what they saw, and they would probably shout. Why does Uchiha Xiao have such a look? This illusion of yours is too rubbish. At this moment, Uchiha Xiao's gentle eyes suddenly turned cold because he discovered something was wrong. He looked at the other coffin and saw that it was empty. What happened? His body should have been placed here. Before that shocking decisive battle, he used the Sharingan illusion to control a ninja to send his body here after his death and be buried with Uchiha Reina. The ninja died immediately after the genjutsu ended. Theoretically speaking, only he knew the burial place of Uchiha Xiao in the entire ninja world. He couldn't figure out who else could know about this place. Uchiha Xiao's brain was spinning rapidly, with countless possibilities flashing through his mind. A questionable object comes to mind. Orochimaru. Since he summoned himself, there is a certain possibility that he stole his body, but of course this possibility is only 10%. However, as the saying goes, knowledge and action are one. If he thinks of it, he will do it. Even if there is only a 10% possibility, he will confirm it himself. Of course, there is another possibility. Uchiha Obito and those people are up to something, but the problem is that only he, Uchiha Xiao, knows where the corpse was hidden. This is very strange. In fact, he can be resurrected perfectly even without a corpse, but if Uchiha Xiao wants to absorb Hashirama cells and become stronger than before, the corpse is indispensable. And he knew that Madara placed Rinnegan with Nagato, and if he wanted to master Rinnegan's abilities, he must have a powerful body. Chapter 30. Attack the Sound Ninja Village. Please give me flowers. Please give me a review vote. Please give me a collection. But now Uchiha Xiao doesn't want to attack Nagato so quickly. Nagato founded an organization called Akatsuki. There are many experts in this organization. According to the current strength, everyone has the ability to make an impact. If the enemy goes out in full force, then with less than 1/5 of the strength, it will be difficult for him. I wonder if there are any other sealing masters in the Shisha organization. Uchiha Xiao must minimize risks. I am only less than 1/5 of the strength of my heyday. If the opponent uses all of them, it will be quite difficult to fight. Moreover, there is no guarantee that there are any masters of sealing techniques in Qi Xiao's organization. In this case, Uchiha Xiao will minimize the probability of any mistakes. Thinking about what to do next, Uchiha Xiao's hands were not idle, and she used a reverse summoning technique to send Uchiha Reina's coffin into the summoning space. In the desolate wasteland, a ninja waits beside the cave like a puppet. Uchiha Xiao walked out of the cave. He looked at the ninja and the Sharingan began to rotate. As if receiving the order, the ninja opened his closed left eye. Kamui. A visible distorted space appeared out of thin air, and Uchiha Xiao walked in. Tien Country. Sound Ninja Village. This is a new ninja village with a sparse population, but there are many ninjas working there. As the name suggests, the ninjas in this village are good at using sound waves and sounds to attack. At this moment, they are practicing sonic attacks. At this moment, an inexplicable chakra fluctuation broke the peace of the Sound Ninja Village. Under the close arrangement of Orochimaru, there were many sensing ninjas in the Sound Ninja Village. They quickly sensed the abnormal movement of chakra, and then called a dozen ninjas to rush to the place where the chakra moved. Kamui appeared and Uchiha Xiao appeared at the gate of Sound Ninja Village. Oh, you're pretty alert. As soon as his feet landed, Uchiha Xiao showed a smile. Not long after, a dozen ninjas from the Sound Ninja Village ran out of the Sound Ninja Village. The ninjas of the Sound Ninja Village are also very tough. The moment they saw the protagonist, they did not question Uchiha Xiao's identity, but launched an attack without saying a word, even though they did not know who the visitor was. Several ninjas stretched out their arms. On their arms was a strange ninja tool with some air holes on it. Ninpo technique. Zon Kongbo. A harsh sound of airflow sounded, hitting Uchiha Xiao directly. Should we start the fight directly? It saves us a lot of talking. Fire style extinguishing fire. Flames poured out of Uchiha Xiao's mouth like an ocean. Seeing the huge sea of fire, the Sound ninjas panicked. Fire styles of this scale are really rare. Whizzing. Some of the faster sound ninja escaped the sea of fire, but the remaining sound ninja were quickly swallowed by the sea of fire, and their bodies were no longer alive. Who was this person? The remaining sound ninjas couldn't help but have questions in their hearts. At this time, someone finally noticed the 2 traces of blood in Uchiha Xiao's eyes. It's Sharingan. Someone directly told what he saw. Sharingan appeared, and combined with Uchiha Xiao's retro outfit, someone quickly recognized Uchiha Xiao. Yes, it's him, Uchiha Xiao. Hearing this, even the most loyal warrior to Orochimaru had the war flames in his heart extinguished instantly. They knew everything that happened in Konoha, and they knew even more clearly that the person they were loyal to, Orochimaru, died at the hands of this Uchiha Xiao. Once upon a time, Orochimaru was the most powerful ninja in their hearts, and now, the ninja who killed their idol stood in front of them. Not only did they lose their will to fight, but their will to escape was also wiped out. Chapter 31. Yukushi Kabuto. Please give me flowers. Please give me a review vote. Please give me a collection. The originally bustling sound ninja village seemed to have fallen into a vacuum, filled with an eerie silence. If someone happens to pass by here at this time, they will definitely be frightened and speechless by what they see. The corpses of more than a dozen sound ninjas were scattered at the gate of the sound ninja village. There were not many wounds on their bodies. They were all killed by one blow. The skill and neatness of the killers were clearly visible. Going deep into the gate of the sound ninja village, the number of corpses was even more numerous. Countless sound ninjas fell in the village. There was a series of bloody footprints on the ground, and at the end of the bloody footprints was the laboratory of the sound ninja village. The door to the laboratory opened slowly, as gently as if the person coming was a gentleman. Uchiha Xiao kept his eyes still, focusing on the person who was doing experiments at the table. The man had silver hair, turned his head, had a young face and ordinary glasses, and revealed to others a sense of harmlessness. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Yukushi Kabuto. I am Orochimaru-sama's assistant. Uchiha Xiao looked at everything in the laboratory with interest and said. Are you very calm? Yukushi Kabuto faced Uchiha Xiao and showed a respectful smile. Master Xiao, your name is spreading throughout the ninja world now. I am not happy enough to see you. Besides, I think I can help you. Uchiha Xiao found a chair and sat down, crossing her legs and looking at Kabuto. This guy is a wallflower. Kabuto didn't show any stage fright. He pushed up his glasses, and a strange white light flashed through the lenses. Perhaps Mr. Xiao doesn't know. I dare say that the entire ninja world can surpass me in medical skills by no more than one hand. And I speculate that Mr. Xiao is planning a resurrection now, right? Uchiha Xiao didn't speak. His blood-red eyes were staring at Kabuto. Kabuto still had that respectful smile on his face, but a drop of sweat on his forehead still revealed his inner peace. Okay, let me ask you a question. Hearing Uchiha Xiao's question, Kabuto breathed a sigh of relief. Although Uchiha Xiao didn't say it clearly, he still knew that his own value saved his life. I will tell you everything I know. Uchiha Xiao asked where his body was. Hearing this question, Kabuto was stunned for a moment, and then said honestly. Master Orochimaru originally wanted your body, but he couldn't find it. In the end, he extracted your DNA from your relics to perform Impure world reincarnation. Now it was Uchiha Xiao's turn to be a little surprised. In his mind, the biggest suspect for stealing his body was Orochimaru. Could it be that this man with glasses was lying? Although Uchiha Xiao saw no signs of lying, he still cast a Sharingan illusion on Kabuto. Under the effect of the illusion, Kabuto's confession was still the same as before. Kabuto woke up from the genjutsu and suddenly panicked inside. In fact, Uchiha Xiao's illusion was so silent that he didn't notice it at all. Uchiha Xiao didn't pay attention to Kabuto's panic, and his brain began to work rapidly. Thinking about it, he still overestimated Orochimaru. The coffins of himself and his sister were protected by many barriers. Not to mention that he had set up a 3-level high-level barrier of the Uzumaki clan. On the Uchiha tablet alone, those who have not cultivated their eye power to an extremely deep level will not be able to break the first seal. This matter needs to be investigated slowly. Now we still need to focus on the present. At this moment, we can find this Yukushi Kabuto to solve the problem of Hashirama cells. He took out a scroll and summoned the contents. Unprocessed Hashirama cells suddenly appeared in front of Kabuto's eyes. How long will it take to refine this? Kabuto picked up a test tube and began to calculate, and finally reported a number. 3 years, I can extract Hashirama cells in 3 years. Hearing this, Uchiha Xiao frowned. So long. Seeing Uchiha Xiao frown, Kabuto's heart skipped a beat. He swallowed and said. Well, because it has always been managed by Orochimaru-sama before, I only assisted on the side, refining Hashirama cells, and I also had to rely on Orochimaru-sama's manuscripts and notes. Kabuto talks about the difficulty of refining Hashirama cells. But Uchiha Xiao didn't want to wait so long and said bluntly. It's been too long. Refining cells plus absorbing and fusing chakra, this time is too long. After hearing Uchiha Xiao's words, Kabuto could only stand aside with his head lowered. At this time, a name suddenly flashed in the mind of Uchiha Xiao, who was deep in thought. He opened his mouth and said slowly, "How does that Tsunade compare to you?" Kabuto took a breath and his heart began to beat faster. When Uchiha Xiao said the word, Tsunade, Kabuto's inner sense of crisis suddenly rose. He was keenly aware that if Uchiha Xiao knew that Tsunade's medical skills were even better, his life might not be saved. Subconsciously, Kabuto thought of many tricks to deceive the man in front of him. But, do I really have the confidence to lie in front of this man? Kabuto, who was lowering his head in thought, raised his eyes and met those blood-red Sharingans directly. These eyes were staring straight at him, as if they could look straight into his soul. At this moment, Kabuto was very convinced that all his courage and strategies were nothing in front of these eyes. In the end, Kabuto told the truth. Tsunade's medical skills and research abilities are superior to mine. Sitting on the chair, Uchiha Xiao raised his head slightly, and a cold voice immediately sounded. Then what do you think you are worth to me now? Decisive and ruthless in killing, these are the labels and evaluations of Uchiha Xiao in the ninja world, and they are absolutely correct. Kabuto pushed up his glasses with trembling hands and forced his tone to calm down. Master Xiao, Master Orochimaru has been conducting research on Hashirama cells for many years, and I have been assisting him for many years. I can guarantee that Tsunade does not understand Hashirama cells as well as I do. And I can also help your body reach its peak. Orochimaru-sama has many medicines and secret techniques to improve your physical fitness. Quote. Seeing that Uchiha Xiao didn't speak, Kabuto continued to try his best to prove his worth. One thing you may not know is that Tsunade suffers from hemophobia. You know, in the field of medicine and research, fear of blood will only slow down the progress of research. I am different. However, before Kabuto could finish speaking, Uchiha Xiao spoke up. After all that, I still can't cover up your weakness in medical skills and research. You are no match for Tsunade. Kabuto seemed to be choked by an invisible hand and couldn't say a word. In the end, he knelt down weakly. His fear and flattery towards Uchiha Xiao disappeared at this moment, because he understood that he was ready to die, so he had nothing to fear. Memories flashed through my mind like a revolving door. The happy time in the orphanage, the gentle treatment by the dean, the regret of killing the dean with his own hands, the sinking when following Orochimaru. Dean, I'm going to see you. Uchiha Xiao held the kunai and slowly walked towards Kabuto, who looked at all this coldly. This man with glasses seems to have a lot of stories behind him, but who doesn't have a story? Chapter 32. Tsunade collapses. Ask for data support. Tsunade-sama, stop drinking. Shizune looked at Tsunade with a worried look on his face and tried to persuade him. However, Tsunade still refused to listen. She drank glass after glass of wine with a worried look on her face. I really don't understand you. You obviously won a fortune with great difficulty, but now you are worried. Shizune frowned and stared at Tsunade with great resentment. In fact, Tsunade himself didn't understand why. He had obviously lost so many games in a row, but he finally won, but he was not happy at all. When she saw 3 sevens on a slot machine, her first reaction wasn't to cheer. Instead, it seemed like an invisible big stone was pressing down on her heart. However, after winning so much money, since you are sad, let's drink to drown your sorrows. Thinking this, Tsunade slammed the table and shouted, "Bring me the wine. Bring me the wine." Just when Tsunade was about to get drunk and rest, a greasy and familiar voice sounded from the side. Ha ha ha, you are still so heroic. Hearing the sound, Tsunade didn't look back and continued to sip the wine in his glass. The owner of the voice couldn't help but sit opposite Tsunade. Hey, Tsunade, long time no see. You are getting more and more beautiful. Jiraiya scratched his head and laughed at Tsunade. Naruto followed and sat next to Jiraiya. At this time, he was shocked when Jiraiya said that the woman opposite was Tsunade. As this sister Tsunade, Uzumaki Naruto looked at Tsunade and said to himself in disbelief in a voice that only he could hear, "You said this is 50 years old." After Jiraiya sat down, he ordered the dishes very familiarly. Soon, the delicious food filled Naruto's mind with questions. After everyone had had their fill of wine and food, Jiraiya finally revealed the purpose of his trip. I'm here because I have business. What's the matter? Tsunade lazily raised his glass and asked. You haven't heard the news yet, from Konoha. Tsunade-sama has been hanging out in the casino these days. When he gets sleepy, he goes straight back to the inn to sleep, so he hasn't been exposed to any information at all. Shizune spoke unceremoniously about Tsunade's glorious deeds. Tsunade glanced at Shizune, then looked at Jiraiya and said, What's the matter? The old man wants to ask me to go back again. The village wants you to inherit the position of Hokage and become the 5th generation. Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. Naruto was immediately choked, and he was even more surprised than Tsunade. Tsunade drank another glass of wine and said rather irritably, Why? The old man is finally retiring. Jiraiya paused for a moment and finally said, 3rd generation, he passed away. Snapped. Tsunade's hand shook, and the wine glass in his hand was crushed into pieces. What did you say? Jiraiya sighed and told him about Konoha's collapse plan and Orochimaru's invasion of Konoha. Orochimaru. Then how is he now? Tsunade lowered her head so that her expression could not be seen clearly, but the wine glass in her hand that turned from fragments to powder showed that Tsunade was not feeling well in her heart. Calm. He's dead too. Tsunade suddenly raised his head. What? Chapter 33. Tsunade. Only an idiot would want to do the Hokage. Please give me flowers. Please give me a review vote. Please give me a collection. Jiraiya continued. The third generation was not killed by Orochimaru. On the contrary, both Orochimaru and the third generation were killed by Uchiha Xiao. Tsunade stopped talking. She stared at the table blankly, unable to calm down for a long time. She has naturally heard of Uchiha Xiao. When she was little, she pestered first generation to tell her stories. First generation was also very lazy and often told her past experiences. Naturally, she also learned a lot about Uchiha Xiao's deeds from her grandfather. Tsunade asked eagerly. Then Uchiha Xiao hasn't been dead for decades. How on earth was he resurrected? Orochimaru used the forbidden technique to resurrect Uchiha Xiao, but he failed to control it, which eventually caused the situation to get out of control. After hearing this, Tsunade held his forehead and couldn't speak for a long time. For a long time, Tsunade held back a sentence. This guy Orochimaru has never done anything good. Uchiha Xiao did more than that. One Tail and Two Tail were also captured by him. After saying that, Jiraiya glanced at Naruto beside him. The reason why he took Naruto with him now was because the village was leaderless and it was safest to have Naruto follow him. At this time, Jiraiya continued to ask Tsunade. Let me ask you again, you will be the one to succeed 5th Hokage. The village's decision is yours. What do you think? Tsunade took a deep breath, and then said decisively, if you don't go, why don't you go? Jiraiya patted Naruto's head and said with a smile, I have to take care of my disciple Naruto. Tsunade was shocked. Is this Brad Uzumaki Naruto? She naturally knew Naruto's life experience, a child of the 4th generation, Jinchuriki of 9 tails. Unexpectedly, Jiraiya was working as his master. At this moment, Naruto couldn't bear it anymore. He stood up and pointed at Tsunade and shouted. Hey, why do you refuse to be a Hokage? In his heart, the position of Hokage is sacred, and now someone actually wants to reject the position of Hokage. This was something he couldn't accept. Jiraiya stopped Naruto from yelling. This is a matter decided by the higher-ups in the village. There is no place for you, Genin, to intervene. Upon hearing this, Naruto could only hold his chest and sulk. Looking at Naruto's appearance, Tsunade also found it a bit funny. This disciple is different from your previous ones. Not only is his eloquence and brains, even his appearance is not good. Naruto was very angry when he heard this, and Jiraiya was also beside him and said. Compared to 4th Hokage, no matter who he is, he will be inferior. His talent, and he is as handsome as me. Ha 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 ha. However, Tsunade's words immediately interrupted Jiraiya's laughter. Yes, even such a 4th Hokage died. He risked his life for the village. But life and money are different. To risk your life so easily is to be a hopeless fool. Quote. As soon as these words came out, the wine table fell silent for an instant, and Naruto was so angry that he was shaking all over. You say, idiot. Tsunade did not stop outputting his opinions, but continued. My grandfather and 2nd Hokage, their biggest wish was for peace in the village, but before they could realize it, they died in vain for the village. Sarutobi-sensei is the same. He is too old and self-righteous. Of course he will die. After speaking, she picked up the wine bottle and took a sip. After saying these words, even Jiraiya lost the smile on his face, but Naruto couldn't bear it anymore. He was shaking all over and staring at Tsunade with angry eyes. Tsunade glanced at Naruto and continued without caring. Only an idiot would want to do something like Hokage. Boom. Naruto couldn't bear it any longer. He jumped on the table and was about to hit him with his bastard fist. You dare to laugh at Grandpa 3rd generation and the Hokage in front of me. No matter if you are a woman or not, I will take care of you. However, as soon as he got to the table, he was caught by Jiraiya. Seeing that Naruto was so angry, Tsunade didn't know why she got interested. She got close to Naruto's face and said. You are very brave. You dare to talk to me like this. Go outside, you brat. After saying that, he walked out of the tavern without looking back, and Naruto followed him out angrily. Seeing this, Jiraiya could only sigh helplessly. The crescent moon shed silver gauze, illuminating the dark road a little. Tsunade and Naruto stood facing each other in the middle of the road. At this time, Tsunade raised a finger. One finger is enough to deal with you. Chapter 33. Tsunade. Danger. Thank you for the flower support. Thank you. Okay, come on over, kid. Tsunade smiled confidently and hooked Naruto. Jiraiya crossed his chest and watched the farce. He didn't bother to stop it. After all, he knew that Tsunade must be measured. After all, it was just that he was beaten half to death by her. Naruto couldn't bear it any longer. He suddenly got angry and took out several shurikens from his ninja bag and threw them at Tsunade. This kind of attack was just like a joke to Tsunade. She closed her eyes and dodged the shuriken, then turned into an afterimage and rushed towards Naruto. The slender fingers were inserted into the ring of kunai, and with a slight force, the kunai in Naruto's hand was thrown away. Then he lifted his finger upwards, and Naruto's forehead protector was also blown away. The force was so strong that Naruto fell to the ground. What? It all happened so fast that Naruto didn't even react. Just when Naruto was about to struggle up from the ground, Tsunade's figure appeared in front of him, and her slender fingers were already touching his forehead. Snapped. With a slight flick of his head, Naruto flew backwards. After rolling several times on the ground, Naruto finally stood up. The way he looked at Tsunade also changed. He didn't expect that this arrogant and beautiful woman could be so powerful. Tsunade didn't break her promise, she only used one finger from beginning to end. Seeing this stubborn kid getting up again, Tsunade couldn't help but ask curiously. Kid, what is it that makes you so obsessed with the Hokage? After hearing Tsunade's question, Naruto looked at Tsunade with his unwavering eyes. No reason, just because being a Hokage is my dream. Hearing these words, Tsunade's expression changed, and Naruto's stubborn face gradually overlapped with the two people in his memory. There is a flaw. Tsunade fell into some kind of emotion, and Naruto saw an opportunity, and chakra began to condense into his hands. The next second, a half-formed Rasengan appeared in his hand. Naruto flew over and turned into a blue meteor and hit Tsunade. Tsunade was also shocked and jumped back. Boom. Although it was only a half-formed Rasengan, its power still caused a small crater to break out in the ground. There were wisps of white smoke rising from the pit. Naruto lay in the pit and raised his face stained by dust. I, Uzumaki Naruto, want to be as great a ninja as Grandpa 3rd generation. You have to apologize to Grandpa 3rd generation. Looking at Naruto's determined eyes, Tsunade did not dare to look at him, so he had to look at Jiraiya. You actually taught him this technique. So far, only the 4th Hokage and you know this technique. Jiraiya said indifferently. He is still my disciple after all. It is normal to teach him Rasengan. At this time, Tsunade looked at Naruto lying on the ground and said, you haven't even learned Rasengan, and you want to become a Hokage. Naruto quickly got up from the ground, suddenly anxious. It's just a Rasengan. Just give me 3 days, and I can learn it. Hearing Naruto talk so wildly, Tsunade, who was already depressed because of winning money, was instantly aroused. Okay, how about we make a bet? If you can learn Rasengan within 3 days, then not only will I go back to the village with you, but I will also give you this necklace. As he spoke, Tsunade pointed to the necklace he had been wearing. What kind of necklace is this? It looks cheap at first glance. Naruto pouted and bargained with Tsunade. However, Tsunade smiled softly and said, this is the necklace given to me by first Hokage. As soon as these words came out, Naruto suddenly changed his view on the necklace, and he said with golden eyes, okay. It's a deal. Jiraiya was speechless watching this scene. At this time, Tsunade continued. Don't forget, the so-called bet has a price for you. If you fail to learn Rasengan within 3 days, then you and the people in the village should stop bothering me. Okay, I will definitely learn Rasengan within 3 days. Because doing what I say is my nindo. Seeing this brat speaking so arrogantly, Tsunade couldn't get angry at all. Naruto looked more and more like her brother Naoki in her eyes. Tsunade walked up to Jiraiya and asked. You did it on purpose, right? Bring this child over. Jiraiya did not answer directly, but said, it's very similar, right? No matter the age, temperament, or even dreams, they are exactly the same as him, and. Listening to Jiraiya's words, Tsunade thought of Naruto's words just now. It's my dream to be a Hokage. This sentence, Naoki also said, it is as if Naruto repeated it exactly. That dream is so similar to the self-righteous character. The brief conversation ended quickly, and Naruto shouted that he was going to drag Jiraiya to practice. Are you crazy? What time is it now? Let's practice again tomorrow. With that said, regardless of Naruto's extremely high decibel noise, he pulled him and walked towards the hotel. Tsunade stared at Naruto's back until it completely disappeared. Shizune, let's go. She waved her hand and Shizune ran over from the side. However, at this time, Shizune asked Tsunade. Tsunade-sama, is that necklace really okay? Shizune knew that this necklace meant as much to Tsunade as life. Even if he was short of money, Tsunade would not mortgage this necklace. But at this time, this necklace was placed on a bet that was like child's play. But Tsunade said indifferently, he can't learn it in 3 days anyway, so let's go. You know, Rasengan is an A-level ninjutsu. These levels of ABCD are not actually a standard to measure the strength of a skill, but a standard to measure the difficulty of learning a skill. A-level ninjutsu is the second most difficult ninjutsu to learn after S-level. No matter how you look at it, it is impossible for this crazy kid to learn this A-level ninjutsu in 3 days, which is why Tsunade made a bet. But in Tsunade's heart, there was a vague hope that Naruto could win the necklace. Tsunade did not tell Shizune this feeling, and the two of them walked towards the hotel in silence. Squeak. I chose this dilapidated hotel because I lost money. As soon as I opened the door would let out a wail of collapse. Tsunade sighed. Since he won so much money today, he would just change to a good hotel tomorrow. However, after opening the door, Tsunade, who was still a little drunk, was completely sober at this moment. I saw a person standing in the room. He stood in front of the window, looking up at the sky, as if admiring the rare moonlight. At this time, the silver moonlight penetrated through the window and shone on the man. Black hair, black clothes, black armor, and the red and white emblem of the Uchiha clan. Chapter 34. Uchiha Xiao is here. Capture Tsunade. Please give me flowers. Please give me a review vote. Please give me a collection. Soon, Tsunade figured out the identity of the person coming. Are you Tsunade? Uchiha Xiao's handsome face and the aggressiveness in his eyes were clearly exposed. Tsunade-sama. Shizune immediately stopped in front of Tsunade. She knew very well how serious Tsunade's anemia was. If a fight broke out, just a little bit of blood could cause Tsunade to suffer mental pain. Shizune was also very smart, and she recognized the man in front of her, but she still stood in front of Tsunade without hesitation, even though her body was already trembling. You are Uchiha Xiao. After the death of grandfather first generation, Tsunade has always been taken care of by second grandfather Tobirama, and Tobirama often expressed his thoughts to little Tsunade. She clearly remembers that second generation told her that the Uchiha clan is an inherently evil clan, and Uchiha Xiao is the most evil ninja in Uchiha. He will not stop until he kills every family he attacks until they surrender. Anyone who dares to provoke Uchiha, even if it's just verbal flattery, as long as he knows about it, he will travel thousands of miles to kill him. Just because he said, Uchiha's reputation cannot be damaged. Arrogance, indifference, it seems that all the worst traits can be seen in Uchiha Xiao. As a person with the purest evil of the Uchiha clan, he never trusts anyone but his own power. Probably only Hashirama would foolishly want to make friends with Uchiha Xiao and turn their hostility into friendship. Affected by this, Tsunade listened to Uchiha Xiao's stories as a ghost story since he was a child, and now, this childhood nightmare is standing in front of him. Why doesn't this make Tsunade feel hesitant? Taking a deep breath, Tsunade calmed herself down. She pushed Shizune in front of her and asked Uchiha Xiao. Uchiha Xiao, what do you want from me? Uchiha Xiao did not answer Tsunade's question directly, but said. I want you to come with me. As a descendant of Hashirama, I can give you a chance to survive. Tsunade frowned. He knew that Uchiha Xiao was very arrogant, but he didn't expect that he would be so rude as soon as he spoke. However, before Tsunade could reply, Uchiha Xiao took action. He planned to capture Tsunade alive first, but he didn't want to waste a lot of words in exchange for a rejection in the end. Uchiha Xiao was very fast. He turned into an afterimage and quickly attacked Tsunade. Although Shizune's strength is good, Uchiha Xiao's speed is too fast. Before Shizune could react, Tsunade next to her had already started to counterattack. Boom. The white fist punched out violently, bursting out with huge energy, and the wind caused by the punch even made Shizune unable to open his eyes. When Shizune reacted, he saw a huge red arm bone suddenly appeared in front of him. Tsunade's fist hit it, and a ferocious crack appeared on it very conspicuously. Uchiha Xiao looked at the serious-looking Tsunade and said sarcastically. Only brute force. Being Hashirama's granddaughter and not being able to use wood style really brings shame to your family. However, Tsunade didn't reply, and her second punch came quickly. Boom. With a loud noise, Susanoo in the second stage was directly shattered by Tsunade, and the red chakra instantly escaped in the air. Susanoo, who was extremely frightened by Shizune, was smashed to pieces by two punches. At this time, Uchiha Xiao showed a rare expression of surprise, because his Susanoo had rarely been broken. Even after the Impure world reincarnation, when his strength was not as strong as in his prime, facing the attack of Konoha Jumura, only the man named Might Guy could pose such a threat to Susanoo. And Tsunade's two punches far exceeded his expectations. This also made the aloof Uchiha Xiao give a rare compliment. Yes, your strange power is already comparable to Hashirama's before he was alive. Tsunade frowned slightly and snorted. HMPH. After saying that, she stepped hard with both feet, leaping high into the air, and the rich chakra concentrated in her fists. Punch. This punch was so powerful that there were even bursts of roaring sounds around the fist. Uchiha Xiao stood there blankly, seeming to be receiving the baptism of fists. Just when the punch was about to hit, Uchiha Xiao opened his eyes suddenly, and the three Magatama spinning rapidly. Sharingan illusion. The next second, Tsunade's eyes lost their brightness, the chakra on his fists quickly dissipated, and the whole person seemed to have lost consciousness. Tsunade-sama. Shizune quickly ran over to unlock Tsunade's genjutsu. But in just this moment, Tsunade's consciousness immediately returned to clarity. After regaining consciousness, she signaled Shizune to step back, and then immediately kicked Uchiha Xiao to distance herself from him. This kick was so powerful that Uchiha Xiao took 2 or 3 steps back. After his footsteps stopped, he quickly observed Tsunade's condition. Looking at Tsunade as if nothing was wrong, he showed an expression that was indeed the case. Sure enough, God seems to have a bad intention, and it intends to make Uchiha and Senju a natural rival. The Uchiha clan's Sharingan illusion is often invincible in front of other ninjas, but it only needs to face the enemies of the Senju clan. That would require twice or even 3 times the usual eye power. The Tsunade in front of him possesses the purest Senju bloodline. With his eye power, which is less than 1/5 of the original, it is impossible to do anything to Tsunade. Tsunade began to respond with words at this time. It seems that your methods have no effect. Susanoo was crushed by 2 punches, and the illusion was instantly broken. From this point of view, it seemed that Tsunade had the upper hand in the battle. Hearing this, Uchiha Xiao smiled. It was funny to him that Tsunade was already a Benwu person, but he was still so childish. If he hadn't wanted to capture Tsunade alive, Tsunade might have turned into a corpse at this time. Tsunade doesn't know this, and she will pursue the victory as soon as she moves. She knew that the Uchiha Xiao in front of her was an impure world reincarnation and there would be no blood spilled, so she didn't care if she started a fight. Senju fluid technique, Tenshao Kaku. A bit of blue light appeared in his feet, and Uchiha Xiao felt great danger from this bit of blue light. This kick is several times more dangerous than the Tongtian fist just now. Blinking technique. Whoosh. Uchiha Xiao's figure disappeared immediately, and in the next breath, Tsunade's castle foot hit the floor of the room. Boom. After a loud noise, the outer wall of the hotel cracked with ferocious marks. Immediately afterwards, the hotel tilted to one side and collapsed. Smoke and dust suddenly flew everywhere, and the roar of collapse echoed around. Fortunately, the movements of Tsunade and Uchiha Xiao had already awakened everyone in the hotel, and the civilians had hurriedly evacuated from the hotel just before, so such an exaggerated blow did not affect ordinary people. However, this movement still woke up everyone in the short book street. In a hotel not far away, Jiraiya, who had been sleeping suddenly woke up. He looked in the direction of the dust and said in surprise. That location is the hotel where Tsunade is. Chapter 35. The sword rises and falls. Please give me flowers. Please give me collections. Please give me evaluation votes. I have the strength, but not the speed. Like a teacher, Uchiha Xiao speaks like words of guidance. What Uchiha Xiao said was indeed correct. He still recognized Tsunade's power. If such strange power is paired with sealing techniques, even Uchiha Xiao will feel a little troubled. However, the probability is very low. After hearing Uchiha Xiao's words, Tsunade walked out of the smoke. She looked at Uchiha Xiao's impure world reincarnation body and quickly guessed the purpose of Uchiha Xiao's coming to her. Uchiha Xiao, you came to me to completely resurrect your own body, right? But, unfortunately, I can't do it. I'm just a medical ninja, and I can't resurrect people. As he said that, Tsunade thought of those 2 unspeakable pains again, and the voices and smiles of Naoki and Dan appeared before his eyes. A helpless feeling of sadness arose in Tsunade's heart. If she really had the ability to resurrect people, she would have resurrected those people who were important to her. Forget it. With your weak strength, how can you possibly understand this step? Hearing Tsunade's words, Uchiha Xiao shook his head, but he could also understand that Tsunade's strength was not enough for her to contact and understand this level. Uchiha Xiao's cold voice came out. The combination of yin and yang can bring about all things. This principle applies to all things in the world. If yin and yang can be fused, it is the real power. In short, you don't need to understand. Tsunade didn't understand what Uchiha Xiao said, nor was he interested in understanding it. Such an unclear concept, like a magic stick, is common in the entire ninja world. When Tsunade was with Orochimaru would always say something like this. So Tsunade has long been immune to these nagging things. Seeing that the short conversation had broken down, Uchiha Xiao no longer had the time to chat with Tsunade. He formed a seal with his hands, and a red energy emerged from his body. Since Tsunade is not as weak as he thought, he can relax a little and don't have to worry about accidentally killing Tsunade. Susanoo 4th form. Susan's 4th form is the mode second only to the complete form. As soon as this technique is used, a red giant suddenly rises. As for the collapse of the original hotel, although the residents of Tanshu Street were amazed, they had no intention of leaving their homes. But when Susanoo appeared, all the residents fell into a huge panic and ran outside in a huff. Susanoo, this technique that even most ninjas have never heard of, is like an evil god coming to the world in the eyes of ordinary people. This is a god coming down to punish this human world. Shizune on the side couldn't hide the shock in her eyes. She had been a ninja for so many years and had never seen a ninjutsu of this scale. Shizune couldn't help but hug the piggy in her arms tightly, but the little pig was already trembling with fear and did not dare to make a sound. A few seconds later, Shizune finally woke up from Susane's shock. She quickly stood in front of Tsunade. Tsunade-sama, if you fight against such a technique, the probability of injury will be very high. Shizune's words were true. Against such a powerful ninjutsu, Tsunade could not guarantee that he would not be injured. And as soon as she is injured, her fighting power will disappear immediately when she sees blood. At that time, an ordinary person can kill her. But even so, Tsunade still resolutely let Shizune leave first. Shizune is a very talented child, and at a young age she already possesses special Jonin abilities. But in front of this killing god, there is no difference between special Jonin and the ants on the ground. They will all be killed instantly. Tsunade grabbed Shizune's clothes and pulled him behind him. You're not strong enough to intervene in this kind of battle. Now go find Jiraiya and I'll be responsible for holding this guy back. Although Shizune wanted to stop Tsunade, she did not hesitate after hearing the order, but quickly set off to carry out Tsunade's order. But when she was retreating, she accidentally looked back at Uchiha Xiao in Suzunaka. Just at this glance, the blood red in Uchiha Xiao's eyes seemed to penetrate into Shizune's heart. Whoosh! A sharp sound of breaking through the air came from behind her ears, and Tsunade's hair suddenly stood up. She was too careless. Could this Uchiha Xiao have a helper? The chakra on his body mobilized rapidly. Call. At the critical moment, Tsunade barely dodged the dangerous blow, and a kunai grazed Tsunade's neck and plunged deeply into the ground. Tsunade quickly looked back, but the person who attacked her was not Uchiha Xiao's aide, but Shizune who had just left. Shizune! Tsunade shouted, but unfortunately, Shizune's eyes were dull and there was no reaction. Tsunade quickly realized that Shizune seemed to be under a genjutsu. He quickly stared at the towering Uchiha Xiao. Such an invisible Sharingan illusion, if he hadn't been of Senju blood, he would have fallen into his hands long ago. Uchiha Xiao just smiled at Tsunade's glare. He didn't take any offense and looked like he was watching a show. Although Tsunade didn't understand what Uchiha Xiao was thinking, she still wanted to take this opportunity to unlock the illusion for Shizune. But when he turned around, he saw Shizune holding a kunai against his arm. Tsunade quickly understood what Shizune was doing, just when she was about to stop him. Hands up, swords down. Bah! Blood-red flowers bloomed on Shizune's fair arms, and Tsunade's breath was suffocated. The fighting spirit he had just felt completely disappeared at this moment. However, it wasn't over yet. Shizune flicked his arm and the warm liquid splashed on Tsunade's face. Tsunade subconsciously wiped it and glanced at it. The next second, Tsunade, who still had some mobility, suddenly fell into some kind of shackles. The small amount of blood in Tsunade's eyes seemed to be all over his body, and the pupils in his beautiful eyes trembled slightly. The sticky feel, eye-catching bright red color, and this faint smell of rust. In an instant, Tsunade's consciousness was pulled back to the long river of time, to the unbearable past. That night, she learned of Naoki's death. When she opened the shroud, she found it was so bloody that she couldn't identify any of it as her brother. On the battlefield with heavy rain, Kato Dan's breath was cut off little by little. She looked at the bright red on her hands. This was the blood of the person she loved deeply. Everything that happened many years ago seems to have happened just now, and all the details are vivid and clear. Tsunade's eyes were wide open, his breathing was rapid, his hands were shaking uncontrollably, and 2 lines of hot tears fell down his cheeks. Shizune, on the other hand, fell straight down the moment the genjutsu disappeared. Bang, bang, bang. The red Susan slowly walked towards Tsunade, causing quite a stir with every step he took. I saw Susanna bending down and extending his big hand to the unconscious Tsunade. He was about to catch Tsunade in his hands. Sage Art Toad Oil Flame Bomb. Lightning Style Reikiri. The secret of Konoha's fluid technique Asian Peacock. Several waves of powerful attacks attacked the Red Susan. Chapter 36. Hemophobia. Sage Mode. Please give me flowers. Please give me a review vote. Please give me a collection. Sparks and smoke bloomed and bloomed on Susanna like flowers. In an instant, the smoke of the war enveloped Susanna, and Might Guy, the fastest, also saved Tsunade and Shizune. Seeing that Tsunade and Shizune were rescued, several people retreated frantically and distanced themselves from Uchiha Xiao. Whoosh! A hole was torn open in the huge smoke, and Susanna's glowing red eyes were exposed. Everyone in Konoha looked serious. Who in the entire ninja world could resist the attack just now? But this Uchiha Xiao did it. There were only a few cracks in the red Susanna. Inside, Uchiha Xiao crossed his arms and looked at everyone expressionlessly. I thought Uchiha Xiao's target was Naruto, so I chose the hotel far away from Tsunade, but I didn't expect that his target was Tsunade. Why, Master Tsunade? Might Guy asked. Kakashi thought for a moment and quickly answered. You want to be resurrected, right? Tsunade-sama's medical skills can be said to be the best in the ninja world. It is natural for Uchiha Xiao to find Tsunade. Jiraiya's face was extremely solemn. I'm afraid so. If Uchiha Xiao is really resurrected, it will be a disaster for Konoha and even the entire ninja world. The current ninja world is no better than it was decades ago. At that time, Senju Hashirama united with the 5 major ninja villages and paid a heavy price to let Uchiha Xiao die. But there are no strong men like Hashirama and Madara in the current ninja world. If Uchiha Xiao is resurrected, the entire ninja world will fall into Shira like hell. Jiraiya firmly believes in this. Whoosh! Chakra comes in, and Jiraiya helps Shizune escape from the genjutsu. Sir, Jiraiya-sama, am I under a genjutsu? After being surprised for a while, Shizune soon realized that she was under a genjutsu, and her heart was once again shocked by Uchiha Xiao. Even the Yuhi clan, the genjutsu family in the village, may not be able to do this without being aware of it. Jiraiya nodded, then looked at Tsunade with worried eyes. Jiraiya-sama, won't you unlock Tsunade-sama's genjutsu? Might Guy asked doubtfully. In their opinion, Tsunade's distraught appearance was obviously controlled by Uchiha Xiao. However, Jiraiya shook his head. No, Tsunade, she has hemophobia. Hearing this, Kakashi and Might Guy were both shocked. They didn't expect Tsunade, the master of Konoha's medical skills, to suffer from hemophobia. Hemophobia. Kakashi frowned. At this time, Jiraiya spoke. Okay, that's enough chatter. You take Tsunade and Shizune away, and I'll hold him back. After saying that, Jiraiya summoned Toad Fukasaku and Toad Shima. After explaining the seriousness of the matter, the two Toad sages jumped on Jiraiya's shoulders without hesitation. Sage mode. Putting his hands together, the lines of sage mode appeared on his face. At this time, Uchiha Xiao in the distance also took action. He controlled Susanoo and ran towards Jiraiya and others. Susan in the fourth form already has a speed bonus. Originally, Jiraiya and others were 2 kilometers apart, but with Susan's current speed, they could reach them in an instant. Without saying a word, Jiraiya jumped forward, formed a seal with his hands, and then slapped the ground. Earth-style yellow Senuma. The originally hard ground instantly turned into a puddle of mud under Jiraiya's spell. With the blessing of the magic chakra, the range of this spell was greatly increased. A swamp covering several hundred meters appeared under Susan's feet. The swamp was muddy and sticky, and Susan's movements suddenly became inconvenient. Earth-style. It's really difficult. Uchiha Xiao glanced at the swamp on the ground. If he continued to waste time with Jiraiya, I'm afraid Tsunade would be taken away. Fire-style dragon flame sings. Uchiha Xiao formed a seal with his hands and opened his mouth to release several huge fireballs. After the fireballs flew out, they turned into dragon heads and bit into Jiraiya like a roar. What a scary fire style. Jiraiya's face became solemn, and then he formed a seal with his hands. Ninja technique. Needle Jizo. Jiraiya's hair grew longer and stiffer, covering her entire body air tightly. Chapter 37. Jiraiya's one tail. Boom. Boom. The fireball-like dragon's head exploded directly on Jiraiya. The fireball was so powerful that flames and black smoke shot straight into the sky. When the smoke dissipated, Uchiha Xiao discovered that the fireball faucet did not cause much damage. Jiraiya's hair was only stained with a hint of black, but he himself was intact. Although it's very annoying, I recognize your strength. A cold voice sounded, and it was completely unrecognizable that it was a word of recognition, but rather a rare act of charity. Really? Then let you see my strength again. Jiraiya clapped his hands and his hair continued to grow. Ninja technique. Random lion hair technique. Jiraiya's hair was very flexible, and when he used it, it was like a driving arm, and it went straight towards the onikiri on Susanoo's hand. Soon, the white hair tangled itself around Susan's right hand. Uchiha Xiao knew that Jiraiya's hair was very hard, and even the sharpest wind style would be difficult to break through. Jiraiya's attack should be to restrict Uchiha Xiao's actions and buy Tsunade and the others more time. Uchiha Xiao understands Jiraiya's purpose, and he also knows that he can't delay it here any longer. Summoning technique. As the seal was completed, 2 huge summoning spells appeared on the ground. In the billowing white smoke, 2 huge black figures slowly appeared. Surprisingly, it's one tail away. Jiraiya looked at the 2-tailed beasts and felt helpless, but when he thought about the safety of Tsunade and others, he had to cheer up. The 2-tailed beasts were very conscious and attacked Jiraiya without saying a word. Practice blank ammunition. Fireball. The compressed air bomb exploded on the ground, as powerful as a small missile. The power of the fireball cannot be underestimated. When it falls on the ground, the flames burn for hundreds of meters. At this time, the bustling Duchu street has long lost its usual appearance, and everything around it has turned into scorched earth. Jiraiya jumped a few times to avoid the attacks of the 2-tailed beasts. In the next second, his white hair grew longer and stiffer. Sage art thousands of wool needles. Thousands of hairs became as hard as thousands of hairs and shot toward one tail. Like dozens of machine guns firing at once, hair poured out. Swish, swish, swish. Thanks to the tailed beast's huge body, many hairs were tied into Shukaku's body. Roar. Shukaku let out a shrill scream, and after getting angry, he attacked even more violently. Sweat broke out on Jiraiya's forehead, and he began to worry about the future of the ninja world. The current situation is too serious. What has happened in the past few days far exceeds everything that has happened in the past few decades. He secretly made up his mind that Naruto's Mount Myoboku would be on the agenda, and he planned to take Naruto to Mount Myoboku immediately after today. One is to allow Naruto to quickly increase his strength so that he can cope with the ever-changing ninja world. Second, Mount Myoboku is located in a remote location and there are many powerful people, so Uchiha Xiao may not be able to find it. The fight was fierce here, and Uchiha Xiao's figure and Susan had long since disappeared. His chakra was consumed quickly, and Susanoo immediately transformed into a red meteor, flying towards Tsunade at great speed. Chapter 38. 8 Inner Gates Formation. The 7th gate, the shocking door, open. Please give me flowers. Please give me collections. Please give me evaluation votes. This is that guy's chakra. Kakashi's perception was good, and he soon felt a dangerous force approaching quickly. He first signaled Might Guy to carry Tsunade on his back and continue running away, while he turned around and faced the direction of Uchiha Xiao's attack. Lightning-style Reikiri. This technique is the ultimate expression of the lightning-style chakra's form change. It is so powerful that it can even cut off lightning. It is Kakashi's famous stunt. Soon, Uchiha Xiao flew over, and Kakashi was not afraid at all. He took Reikiri and faced the tall Susan. Seeing Kakashi's Reikiri, Uchiha Xiao's eyes flashed with interest. Boom. Kakashi's Reikiri didn't even touch one of Susan's hairs, and was kicked away by Susan. The lightning disappeared and Kakashi flew upside down in midair. At this moment, Uchiha Xiao's cold ridicule floated into his ears. Your chakra is impoverished. Kakashi fell heavily to the ground and spit out a stream of blood from his mouth. Might Guy immediately stopped when he saw this, handed the Tsunade on his back to Shizune, and then faced Uchiha Xiao. 8 Inner Gates Formation. 7th gate, startling door, open. Burning blue steam burst out from Might Guy's body. Facing Uchiha Xiao, Might Guy didn't even think about testing it first, and launched his strongest attack. Hiratora. It's this guy again. Uchiha Xiao frowned. After coming to Impure World Reincarnation, one of the opponents he found difficult was Might Guy. This guy's physical skills were the strongest Uchiha Xiao had ever seen. Boom. The tiger transformed from the air cannon was very powerful. With just one punch, it directly knocked Uchiha Xiao and Susanoo away. Might Guy did not flinch after the attack. He burst out with extremely fast speed, and the surrounding air was stirred up in circles. Boom. Another punch hit Susan. Even though Susan's defense in the 4th form was already very high, under the heavy rain of punches, all the armor on Susan's body had fallen off. At this moment, the two-tailed beasts behind also let out violent howls, followed by strong vibrations. Uchiha Xiao looked over and saw that Jiraiya had suppressed the two-tailed beasts by himself. Sage Art Massive Rasengan. A huge Rasengan appeared in Jiraiya's hand and quickly fell towards Erwei's head. Boom. The high-speed rotating chakra ball caused a strong rotation force, and the chakra flame on the head of Erwei was also stirred and stirred. Roar. Erwei let out a painful cry, and the next second, the Rasengan exploded, and Erwei was directly injured on the ground. Tisk. The situation became a little troublesome. Uchiha touched his scarlet right eye with his small hand, and the Magatama in his right eye turned, and finally calmed down. It's a pity that Tongli currently has no way to use the ability of his right eye, otherwise he would be able to deal with this rabble in a moment. Feeling Tsunade and others drifting away, Uchiha Xiao moved his hands. Shadow Clone Technique. I didn't know this jutsu at first, but with the help of Sharingan, I copied this convenient ninjutsu when I was in Konoha. The clone suddenly left and flew in the direction of Tsunade. Seeing this, Might Guy also understood that he had to increase his offensive and win quickly. Kakashi's current state is very likely to be unable to defeat the Shadow Clone. You value that boy from the Hitaki family very much. Uchiha Xiao saw that Might Guy and Kakashi had a close relationship. Might Guy did not reply, and huge airflow gathered in his hands again. Hiratora. The second Hiratora hit with a bang, along with the flesh and skeleton. Uchiha Xiao's entire Susanoo collapsed with one punch. Susanoo was broken, but the lingering traces of Hiratora hadn't disappeared yet. The wind of the fist surged on Uchiha Xiao and knocked him away. However, Uchiha Xiao's behavior was strange. He closed his eyes and allowed himself to be knocked into the air. Seeing Uchiha Xiao's figure flying out, Might Guy felt happy, jumped on his feet, clenched his fists and flew over. A fierce punch was thrown, and strong wind wrapped around the fist. It's about to succeed. As long as this punch breaks up Uchiha Xiao's body, the sealing scroll given by the village will be used. However, just when Might Guy was about to succeed, Uchiha Xiao's eyes suddenly opened. A pair of bright red eyes came into view. Not good. Might Guy was weak against this kind of opponent after all. He panicked and closed his eyes subconsciously. Naturally, Uchiha Xiao would not let go of this momentary opportunity. He punched Might Guy in the abdomen first, because he remembered that he had hurt Might Guy in that position with Susanoo before. Sure enough, this punch caused severe pain to Might Guy, and his body could not help but slow down a bit. Taking this opportunity, Uchiha Xiao quickly reached behind Might Guy and took out the ninja bag he was carrying. When he opened it, he saw several seal scrolls lying inside. Konoha is very thoughtful, Uchiha Xiao sneered. When Might Guy saw that the seal scroll was about to be taken away, he was so anxious that he punched him. Boom. A powerful kick knocked Might Guy directly to the ground. Your strength is very good, much stronger than many cage levels, but this state cannot last long, right? Uchiha Xiao can guess what secret technique this watermelon head used, so it can explode with such strength in a short period of time, but this secret technique is destined not to be used for a long time. Might Guy didn't reply to Uchiha Xiao's words, but the blue steam on his body seemed to be a little more lush. It seems that I need to be a little more serious. Uchiha Xiao said lightly, then he ignored Might Guy, and a body flicker technique appeared on top of One Tail's head. As soon as he appeared, a fireball that was so hot that it turned white was coming straight at him, but One Tail at his feet seemed a little afraid of the fireball. Waste. After scolding One Tail and with a thought in his mind, Susanoo activated it again and blocked the Senjutsu fireball. This fireball was naturally shot by Jiraiya. Seeing that it was about to hit One Tail, Uchiha Xiao unexpectedly appeared again. Uchiha Xiao planned to fight quickly, and first used a shadow clone to step on Erwei's head. Then, the main body and the clone formed seals together. Prestigious Susanoo. The next second, red armor wrapped the bodies of One Tail and Erwei, and even their heads were covered by the ferocious Karasu Tengu mask. This technique, Jiraiya felt the pressure doubled. He has already seen Susanoo's defensive power, and it is not an exaggeration to say, absolute defense. And Susanoo, who is the absolute defense, is combined with the tailed beast, which is called the strongest weapon. Even Jiraiya could not imagine the power this would unleash. And it's okay for one tailed beast to do this, both tailed beasts are on it. The tailed beast is wrapped in crimson armor, and coupled with its figure that reaches the sky and the earth, it really looks like a god of war sent from heaven. Tailed beast bomb. Uchiha Xiao spoke calmly, and the tailed beast at his feet very obediently began to condense tailed beast bomb. The two tailed beasts also discovered that the tailed beast bomb's strength had actually been enhanced under its powerful armor. Call out. A strong ring of chakra stirred up, followed by the tailed beast bomb that transformed into a beam of light. Chapter 39. Successfully kidnapped Tsunade. Please collect it. Please send flowers. Please vote for evaluation. The extremely fast light ball struck quickly, and just when Jiraiya wanted to escape, he discovered, why did the tailed beast bomb hit Kakashi's direction? What happened? Doesn't Uchiha Xiao want Tsunade? Why did you throw the tailed beast bomb at Kakashi? However, Jiraiya couldn't think so much, and the magical chakra on his body began to operate rapidly, reaching an unprecedented speed. At this time, Kakashi was fighting inextricably with Uchiha Xiao's clone. After Jiraiya flew over, he kicked Uchiha Xiao's clone apart. Jiraiya ran to Kakashi's side and said briefly, Tsuchi Lubi. Kakashi also saw the tailed beast bomb that was about to hit him from behind. The two of them immediately formed seals together and slapped their hands on the ground. A towering high wall broke through the ground. Although the wall was very high and thick, Jiraiya knew that it would not be able to block the power of the tailed beast bomb for long, so Jiraiya bit his finger without hesitation. Boom! The tailed beast bomb hit the earth wall. As soon as it made contact, the earth wall immediately deformed, followed by terrifying cracks like spider webs. 2 seconds. The two ninjas joined forces and the earth flow wall was strengthened by Senjutsu. He lasted 2 seconds in front of the tailed beast bomb. This time is actually quite considerable. For many strong men in the ninja world, 2 seconds can do too much. Ninja technique. Random lion hair technique. Jiraiya's hair grew longer, and he rolled up Shizune and Tsunade before throwing them towards Might Guy, which happened to be out of the range of the tailed beast bomb. However, at this moment, a sudden change occurred. I saw a ninja coming out of the invisibility technique. Who? Jiraiya took a closer look and saw the person wearing Konoha's ninja vest. Jiraiya thought for a moment and didn't recognize who this ninja was. At this moment of thinking, Konoha Shinobi moved. The Konoha Shinobi raised his head, and a blood-red eye suddenly appeared on his left eye. Kamui. The force that was enough to distort space instantly broke Jiraiya's proudly strong hair. It's you. Jiraiya recognized this ninja. This was the ninja who was previously controlled by Uchiha Xiao. The one wearing Kakashi's Sharingan in his left eye was Kakashi's Sharingan. However, it was useless to recognize them. The hair was broken, and the two Tsunades who were originally wrapped in hair were about to fall from the air. At this time, Kamui continued to increase the scope and directly brought Tsunade and the two into Kamui's space. With the mission completed, this Konoha Shinobi also got into the Kamui space, and then disappeared. Hateful. But now Jiraiya has no time to be angry. Everything that just happened was actually just a moment. The problem now is that the tailed beast bomb is coming. Toad mouth bondage technique. Almost at this moment, tailed beast bomb arrived in front of everyone. Boom. The white light expanded rapidly, and a harsh and thick roar resounded for 10 miles, followed by fire and black smoke rising into the sky. The momentum was so huge, it was like a disaster from heaven. Not far away, Uchiha Xiao was sitting cross-legged on One Tail's head, holding his head in his hands and watching all of this rather boredly. Now, the annoying guy should be gone. Tsunade also succeeded. Just when Uchiha Xiao was about to leave, his keen perception sensed something in the thick black smoke. A look of surprise appeared in Uchiha Xiao's eyes. Wind style. Great breakthrough. Strong wind blew out of his mouth, blowing away all the thick black smoke. Seeing the scene in front of him, Uchiha Xiao stood up. He raised his head slightly, with a rare irritated look on his face. It's really troublesome. When the black smoke dispersed, a huge squirming mass of flesh came into view. There was a lot of blood on the flesh mass. It was obvious that the tailed beast bomb just now was still harmful. The next second, bang! The meatball turned into a puff of white smoke and disappeared, and the figures of Jiraiya and Kakashi appeared in front of Uchiha Xiao. Ha ha ha. Although they escaped this fatal blow, the two were still affected, and they looked at Uchiha Xiao breathlessly. Summoning technique. Uchiha Xiao understood Jiraiya's defense method, and he looked at the two-tailed beasts at his feet. Sure enough, one tail's second tail is still a bit too low. In the past, Uchiha Xiao controlled 8 tails and 9 tails, but now he has tried 1 tail and 2 tails, and finally discovered the gap. It is true that it is difficult to go from luxury to frugality. Stab it! Stab it! Dots of lightning appeared in Kakashi's hands. Jiraiya looked at Uchiha Xiao with undiminished fighting spirit, and even the two-toed sages on his shoulders felt stressed. The next second, the magic chakra on Jiraiya also became stronger. Where did you put Tsunade? Uchiha Xiao did not answer Jiraiya's question, but issued an announcement. I will leave 9 tails with you for now. I will take it back later. After saying that, the twisted Kamui space appeared in front of him. Although Uchiha Xiao also wants to take this opportunity to deal with Jiraiya, Might Guy and others, after all, keeping these guys will be very troublesome in the future, but with the current power after Impure World Reincarnation, if they want to completely deal with these guys, there will be a little difficult. Uchiha Xiao glanced at Might Guy in the distance. The most troublesome thing is this watermelon head. If this guy is forced to open the 8th gate, with the current Impure World Reincarnation body, the plan will probably fail. Impure World Reincarnation is also a troublesome limitation. Don't even think about leaving. Jiraiya spit out a fireball and hit Uchiha Xiao directly. However, the speed of the fireball was still too slow after all, and Uchiha Xiao slipped into the Kamui space in a flash. And Jiraiya's fireball also exploded in the air, becoming a lonely firework. After everything calmed down, Jiraiya looked at the messy surroundings and couldn't help but lament in his heart. What was once a bustling entertainment street has now turned into a scorched earth filled with smoke. Whoosh! Might Guy comes from afar. I just saw that Tsunade-sama suddenly disappeared. What happened? Jiraiya replied. It's Kakashi's Mangekyō Sharingan's secret technique. Kakashi also covered his empty left eye, his heart filled with a sense of powerlessness. In the battle just now, Jiraiya restrained 2-tailed beasts, and Might Guy even defeated Susanoo twice, but looking back at himself. It was just like paddling, and it didn't last long after being disconnected. Although he had long passed the age of fighting for victory, seeing that he had no strength at all, he still felt a sense of powerlessness in his heart. At this time, Jiraiya continued. It seems that the 2-tailed beast bombs just now were just a cover-up by Uchiha Xiao. His target was Tsunade from the beginning to the end, and he even secretly arranged for someone wearing a Kakashi Sharingan to kidnap Tsunade. Tsunade-sama. Might Guy pounded his fist on the ground. He also didn't expect that Uchiha Xiao's purpose of using the tailed beast bomb was to attack the east and attack the west. This guy's original goal was Tsunade. Chapter 40. If you be honest, she will live. If you disobey, she will die. Please give me flowers. Please give me a review vote. Please give me a collection. Uchiha Xiao wandered in a remote wasteland. He walked to a stone pillar and formed seals skillfully. A door suddenly appeared on the stone pillar. This is Uchiha Xiao's secret stronghold. This place is far away from the 5 major countries and is located in a very remote location. Back then, Uchiha Xiao, for his great cause of unifying the ninja world, built many strongholds, underground spaces and so on like this in the entire ninja world. Unexpectedly, it was not used at the time, but it was used decades later. What is this place? Tsunade covered her head. She looked around and found that this was not a hospital, but more like a room, a simple room. Soon, Tsunade remembered. Shizune was caught in a genjutsu, and he himself lost consciousness due to hemophobia, and then fainted. The moment before consciousness disappeared, he seemed to be on Might Guy's back. Since we are not in the hospital now, there should be only one possibility. I was caught by Uchiha Xiao. Tsunade immediately raised his forehead and began to worry about everyone's safety. At this moment, a steady sound of footsteps slowly came. Tsunade immediately slowed down his steps and walked to the door, clenching his fists and preparing to give the person who entered the door a hard blow. The reason why Tsunade did not use chakra was because she knew that Uchiha Xiao had good ability to sense chakra. The door opened and Uchiha Xiao walked into the laboratory. Whoosh! Tsunade punched hard, and the punch was so powerful that a strong gust of wind arose where the fist touched. However, the next second, Tsunade suddenly stopped his fist. The fist suddenly stopped, and the remaining fist wind gently brushed the hair on Uchiha Xiao's forehead, revealing his 2 bright red eyes. The reason why Tsunade stopped attacking was not out of mercy, but because in front of his fist was the piglet Shizune had been holding, Dodo. Have you calmed down? Uchiha Xiao asked. Tsunade still raised his fist, with veins popping out and trembling slightly. One can imagine how uneasy Tsunade was at this moment. After a long time, Tsunade finally withdrew her fist. Then, she looked at the man in front of her warily and asked. Where's Shizune? How is she doing now? Uchiha Xiao threw the pig in his hand towards Tsunade, and Tsunade caught it, still looking at Uchiha Xiao intently. If you be honest, she will live. If you disobey, she will die. Tsunade was slightly startled. She believed that Uchiha Xiao meant what he said. She remembered that her second grandfather said that Uchiha Xiao was a crazy ninja. One moment, he was working hard to build the ninja village, and the next moment, he was about to destroy the ninja village and unify the ninja world. So Tsunade pays close attention to Uchiha Xiao's every move, for fear that he will kill Shizune on a whim. Later, Tsunade plucked up the courage and asked, "What's the purpose of bringing me here?" Uchiha Xiao didn't reply, glanced at Tsunade, and walked out of the room. Tsunade didn't like this look. It was a look that seemed to place oneself in a high position by nature, while treating the rest of the people as mere dogs. Seeing Uchiha Xiao's back getting further and further away, after hesitating for a moment, Tsunade followed. The lighting in the corridor is very dim, and the peeling walls reveal that no one has taken care of it for a long time. Tsunade looked at the road ahead and found that there was still some distance to go. After walking for a while, Tsunade finally couldn't help it anymore and said, "Second grandpa is right, you are the most evil ninja." Chapter 41. Tsunade, either be obedient or, please give me flowers. Please vote for me. Please add it to your collection. Uchiha Xiao seemed to be in a good mood and answered, "Really? What else did this kid say?" Hearing Uchiha Xiao call second grandpa this way, Tsunade felt unhappy. "My second grandfather said that Uchiha are a naturally evil people, and you are the most evil person among Uchiha." After saying that, Tsunade observed Uchiha Xiao and found that Uchiha Xiao was unmoved, as if he didn't hear it at all. "He also said that you killed your own sister with your own hands in order to obtain the eternal Mangekyō." Sand. Uchiha Xiao's footsteps suddenly stopped, and Tsunade quickly took 2 steps back cautiously. At this time, a pressure suddenly came, suppressing Tsunade so much that he could hardly breathe. "What did you say?" Tsunade frowned, but she didn't reply. Maybe it was because the pressure was too strong or because she didn't want to answer. Uchiha Xiao turned around suddenly, and the armor on his body made a beating sound. This is the first time Tsunade has seen Uchiha Xiao's face so close. However, this face that was usually cold and aloof was now extremely ferocious. The next second, Tsunade's expression changed drastically. She felt that the man in front of her was emitting murderous intent. Although it is difficult to detect, it is like a gleam on the back, which is extremely disturbing. At this time, Uchiha Xiao spoke, his voice was extremely gloomy. "Let me tell you again, I, Uchiha Xiao, will never kill my sister." The strong pressure turned into reality, and terrible cracks appeared on the ground and walls around him. "I hope you remember that my sister died in the dispute between the 5 great ninja villages. She died after 9 tails was extracted alive." After saying this, Uchiha Xiao turned his head back and continued walking towards the corridor. And Tsunade was in shock. She didn't expect Uchiha Xiao's reaction to be so big. Could it be that the second grandfather had lied to her? Tsunade thought for a while, and still felt that he believed in Grandpa Second. In the past few days, Uchiha Xiao's madness and cruelty seemed to further confirm what Grandpa Second said about Uchiha Xiao. Proud, arrogant, and paranoid. Tsunade took a deep breath and followed Uchiha Xiao's footsteps. Finally, the two came to a door. Tsunade looked up and saw a number on the door with the words, "Laboratory," written on it. Pushing the door open, the dark environment changed from just now. The laboratory is very transparent and bright, and the hygiene is up to standard. As soon as you enter, you will see a dazzling array of experimental equipment. Of course, these were not bought by Uchiha Xiao, but moved directly from Orochimaru's laboratory in the Sound Ninja Village. All of Orochimaru's experimental equipment, data, and files were all moved to this secret place by Uchiha Xiao. Tsunade took a look and found that everything was really complete. At this time, I saw Uchiha Xiao walking over with a test tube. "Your task is to extract what's inside." Tsunade looked over and recognized them as Hashirama cells at a glance. Extract the chakra from the cells and weaken the cell's rejection of other human bodies. Tsunade looked at Uchiha Xiao and said without hesitation, "I refuse." She could probably guess why Uchiha Xiao wanted her to conduct these experiments. It was nothing more than resurrection or becoming stronger. As long as one of these 2 items is completed, Tsunade will probably become a sinner for the ages. Does she know that Uchiha Xiao's goal is to unify the ninja world? If he helped Uchiha Xiao extract Hashirama cells, wouldn't that mean he was aiding the evildoer? Uchiha Xiao didn't seem surprised. He sat on the chair and raised his head slightly. "I said, if you are obedient, she will live. If you are disobedient, she will die. I don't want to repeat this a 3rd time." In one sentence, Tsunade was forced into a dead end. On the one hand, he became the sinner of the ninja world and the driving force behind the destruction of the ninja world. On the one hand, it was the death of his apprentice who had followed him for many years. Each one of them is not what Tsunade wants to choose. However, reality is forcing her to choose one. Chapter 42. True and Complete Resurrection. Please give me flowers. Please give me a review vote. Please give me a collection. Seeing Tsunade's hesitation, Uchiha Xiao also made timely conditions. "You also want to meet those important people, right?" "What do you mean?" Tsunade looked at Uchiha Xiao cautiously. Uchiha Xiao put his head on his hands and said lazily. As long as you help me, then I can also resurrect the most precious person in your life. It is not an impure world reincarnation, but a true resurrection. Upon hearing this, Tsunade's heart skipped a beat, and subconsciously, she touched the necklace around her neck with her hand. Nawaki, broken. The voices and smiles of the two people came to mind. These two people were the hurdles that Tsunade could not overcome in his life. It is because of the deaths of the two that Tsunade has been using alcohol and gambling to numb himself to this day. To this day, she has not truly let go of their deaths. How? Uchiha Xiao's voice appeared again. Tsunade frowned and said nothing. This was almost the most important choice in her life. Uchiha Xiao hugged her chest and waited for Tsunade's choice. Uchiha Xiao usually doesn't have such patience. If it were anyone else, he would have passed by a genjutsu. It's a pity that Tsunade has the powerful bloodline of Senju Hashirama, and it is difficult to control his dirty eye power. If violence is used, it may have the opposite effect. After a long time, Tsunade suddenly raised his hand and held up 3 green-white fingers. 3 days, give me 3 days to think about it, and I will give you a reply then. Uchiha Xiao readily agreed, but he also continued. I can still afford to wait for 3 days, but if you refuse me, I will accept the life of your beloved disciple. Hearing this, Tsunade's face was extremely gloomy, and Uchiha Xiao didn't bother to say anything else to Tsunade. He said everything that needed to be said. Uchiha Xiao walked out of the laboratory, and his figure slowly disappeared into the darkness. In Konoha village, the war destroyed many buildings in Konoha, and many workers were climbing up and down to rebuild the destroyed houses. The bursts of hey made by the workers during labor all show the vitality that Konoha still has. In the Hokage building, several people were sitting around the conference table in the conference room. Meeting here were Jiraiya and Kakashi who had just returned, as well as the two elders Mito and Kaharu who were temporarily in control of Konoha. As for Might Guy, he was still lying in Konoha hospital because he suffered a lot of injuries and overextended himself. As you can see, the mission failed. Jiraiya looked at the two elders and said. The two elders also looked at the report in their hands with serious expressions on their faces. In fact, they did not have high expectations for the task of sealing Uchiha Xiao by Jiraiya and others. They had seen Uchiha Xiao's strength when they were young. But one thing they didn't expect was that Tsunade, who was originally going to come back to inherit 5th generation, was kidnapped by Uchiha Xiao. It's like one wave after another. Mito rubbed the beard on his chin, put the report on the table, and sighed. The village's vitality was severely damaged this time, and it was a time when everything was waiting for improvement. Unexpectedly, Uchiha Xiao took action and took away Konoha's great battle power. In his opinion, Konoha was in a crisis unprecedented in 60 years. However, Kaharu was not so emotional, but asked, this Uchiha Xiao, why did you want to capture Tsunade? Impure world reincarnation should not be sick or injured. Mito had some guesses. It's probably because I didn't get along with Shodai in the past. After his resurrection, he continued his hatred to Shodai's descendants. It's really a bad character of Uchiha. Jiraiya shook his head after hearing this. He looked at the two elders seriously, his voice showed a rare calmness, and said, I'm afraid the problem is more serious than you guessed. I suspect that Uchiha Xiao wants to use Tsunade with his medical ability, he can completely resurrect himself. The two elders were shocked when they heard this, and a crack appeared in the teacup in Mito's hand. Chapter 43. Hokage Candidate. Please give me flowers. Please give me a review vote. Please give me a collection. Kaharu was also not calm, and the deep wrinkles on his face trembled. They also know many details about the secret technique of impure world reincarnation. Because the sacrifices Orochimaru chose when he was reincarnated were of poor quality, Uchiha Xiao only exerted less than 1/5 of his previous strength. Even so, Uchiha Xiao's burst of strength far exceeded that of a cage-level expert, and Konoha paid a heavy price for this. Judging from Uchiha Xiao's hostility to Konoha during his lifetime. If Uchiha Xiao really wants to be resurrected, I'm afraid the first direction he will attack is Konoha. Jiraiya remained silent, waiting for the two elders to respond. After a long while, Mito asked Jiraiya. Jiraiya, do you think Tsunade will help Uchiha Xiao resurrect? Mito's words hit the nail on the head. Although Uchiha Xiao is powerful now, she was still castrated by the impure world reincarnation. As long as Konoha unites other ninja villages, it may not be impossible to completely seal Uchiha Xiao. Of course, the premise of all the above is that Uchiha Xiao cannot be resurrected, and the key to his resurrection depends on Tsunade. Hearing Mito's sharp question, Jiraiya was slightly startled, and then said decisively. I believe Tsunade will not betray the village. The two elders looked at each other, and their pale assurances had no credibility. Kaharu took a sip of the tea in the cup and then said. We don't know what Tsunade has experienced and what changes in his personality he has had over the years since he left the village. Do you understand what I mean? In the opinion of the two elders, Tsunade has been out of the village for so long, and his character and behavior are difficult to predict. Under such circumstances, how can you, Jiraiya, guarantee that Tsunade will not rebellion? Jiraiya also understood what the two elders meant. He nodded slightly and said in a very calm tone. If she does something that harms the village, then I will kill her myself. White smoke rose from the teacup, and the two elders remained silent. Kakashi sat lazily on his seat, flipping through a book of Intimate Paradise in his hand, but at this moment his eyes were also looking at Jiraiya. He understood that Jiraiya must be very painful in his heart to make this decision. Finally, Mito spoke, but this time he turned the topic to the Hokage, obviously agreeing with Jiraiya's words. Then let's talk about the Hokage's inheritance. Since the death of the third generation, the position of Hokage has been vacant for a long time. Although the two of them have temporarily assumed the responsibility of Hokage, Konoha, which is full of things to do, still urgently needs a decision maker. Jiraiya, we recommend you to be the fifth Hokage, is that okay? Jiraiya no longer looked as serious as before, and said carelessly. This is not possible. Now Uchiha Xiao seems to be collecting tailed beasts. I want to take Naruto to Mount Myoboku to practice. Moreover, I guess that the child of destiny mentioned by the great Toad Sage is Naruto. As this so, Jiraiya's reason for refusing was very good. Naruto was Konoha's only remaining trump card, and Mount Myoboku was indeed a very safe place. In this case, Jiraiya, do you have any recommendations? We will also attach great importance to your suggestions. Jiraiya thought for a moment, and finally turned his attention to Kakashi, who was paddling next to him. I think Kakashi is good. Quote question mark question mark question mark quote. Kakashi, who was reading Intimate Paradise, suddenly stopped turning the book. The two elders also nodded frequently. Regardless of strength, mentorship, or qualifications, there is no doubt that Kakashi meets the requirements. In that case, the decision is yours, Hitaki Kakashi. Me, Kakashi was confused and made such a casual decision. Kaharu looked at Kakashi with a look of disgust on his face. Also, Kakashi, you should read less unhealthy books like this from now on. You will represent the village in the future, and reading books like that is unsightly. The confused Kakashi was hit hard again. Chapter 44. Class 7. Naruto vs Sasuke. Please give me flowers. Please give me a review vote. Please give me a collection. The sun is scorching and the sky is sunny. The three people from Team 7 came to the grassland where they usually gather, but Kakashi was not there. It was not because he was late. It's because at this time Kakashi has already taken over the throne and ascended the throne at the speed of light. But because of this, Team 7 lost its leader Jonin, and the three of them stayed bored on the grass. Oh, I didn't expect Kakashi-sensei to suddenly become a Hokage. Little Sakura sat on the grass and sighed. Naruto looked at the Hokage Yanyan. At this time, the fifth Hokage Yanyan was already being carved. Looking at this scene, Naruto suddenly said boldly. Okay, I have decided. I want to become the sixth Hokage. I want to carve my head on the Hokage Yanyan. Little Sakura was startled by Naruto's loud voice. Sasuke glanced at Naruto. Say such stupid things again. What did you say? That bastard Sasuke. Of course I'm talking about you, Cranitail. Seeing that the two were about to quarrel again, little Sakura quickly stepped forward to interrupt and finally calmed down the two of them. Taking this opportunity, little Sakura hesitated and said to Naruto. Naruto, thank you for saving me last time, from Gaara. Hearing Sakura's thanks, Naruto's cheeks blushed slightly, and then he said. We are a team. Kakashi-sensei once said that those who abandon their teammates are worse than trash. I will never abandon little Sakura. After Naruto finished speaking, he recalled that little Sakura had just talked about Gaara, which reminded him of Uchiha Xiao. That arrogant face, and that terrifying strength. Not only did he kill Gaara and Grandpa third generation, he also kidnapped Grandma Tsunade. After Naruto made an agreement with Tsunade at that time, it really only took him 3 days to train Rasengan. But Tsunade couldn't see that he had fulfilled his bet. Naruto's smiling face suddenly disappeared. He stretched out his fist and said firmly. I will absolutely defeat that guy named Uchiha Xiao. I will beat him to pieces. Sakura didn't know why Naruto suddenly got involved with Uchiha Xiao, but she still said worriedly. Naruto, don't be like this. Just leave that kind of enemy to the Jonin in the village. We genin can't get involved. Naruto was about to retort, but Sasuke couldn't help but mocked. Uchiha Xiao is also within your reach. That person represents the peak power of the Uchiha clan. You'd better think carefully about how to be promoted to Chunin. However, Naruto was not discouraged, but said with high spirits, I won't give up anyway. I will definitely give Uchiha Xiao a good beating. Protect Team 7. Seeing Naruto's fighting spirit, Sasuke recalled the day Orochimaru invaded. The three of them received orders to chase Gaara, but just when the situation was in danger, Naruto showed off. He severely injured Gaara, saved little Sakura, and summoned Gamabunta. Naruto's amazing performance made Sasuke, who always thought he was the strongest in the team, feel deeply unwilling. Even though he didn't dare to admit it, Sasuke did feel a little jealous of Naruto in his heart. Seeing Naruto's high-spirited look, Sasuke couldn't help but said harshly. Protect me. Why do you think I need to be protected by a crane like you? The repeated taunts made Naruto angry. What? You bastard Sasuke. I've been putting up with you for so long since just now. The two figures slowly approached each other, looking like they were about to start a fight. Little Sakura immediately stepped forward and said, Naruto, please stop saying a few words. At this time, seeing little Sakura standing in the way, Sasuke pushed little Sakura to the ground. Go away, ugly girl. Sasuke. Little Sakura, who fell to the ground, looked at Sasuke in surprise and even forgot to stand up. Naruto was furious when he saw Sasuke involving little Sakura. You stinky guy, apologized to little Sakura. Seeing that Naruto was angry, Sasuke's lips curled up slightly. He just pushed little Sakura down deliberately just to anger Naruto. Only in this way will Naruto fight against him. As long as he defeats Naruto, he can prove that he is stronger than Naruto. Sasuke said disdainfully. You are not qualified to ask me, you want me to apologize and defeat me. With that said, Sasuke hooked his hand at Naruto and said, don't you always want me to fight you? I'll let you fight me now. Or, are you afraid? Listening to Sasuke's words, Naruto's expression became ferocious. Feeling Naruto's anger, Sasuke's two-tomo Sharingan also began to appear. Little Sakura stood up from the ground and looked at the two people who were about to get into a fight. She shouted anxiously. Sasuke, Sasuke-kun, what's wrong with you? Naruto, please say something. Why did you suddenly, quote. However, at this time, neither of them seemed to hear the sounds outside, and they stared into each other's eyes. Gradually, Naruto's anger subsided, and the ferocious expression on his face turned into a fighting smile. Just what I want. I've always wanted to fight with you. Sasuke's smile grew wider, and he saw a strong fighting spirit in Naruto's eyes. Sasuke was indeed right. Naruto had always wanted to fight with Sasuke, not just because the two often fought and had conflicts. Also because Naruto has always wanted to prove himself through this. Naruto believes that as long as he can prove that he is not weak, he will be recognized by everyone in the village. You two, don't do this, okay? Little Sakura didn't understand all this. She simply felt that her teammates were not good at fighting, so she tried to persuade them with words. Little Sakura's persuasion was very weak. At this time, the two of them could no longer hear the outside world. Sasuke turned his head and said to Naruto. Come over. Naruto followed Sasuke and walked to an open place. Little Sakura also ran over and looked at the two of them worriedly. The two stood opposite each other, staring at each other closely. When the battle was about to begin, Naruto found something strange about his body. What does it feel like? My lower abdomen is shaking a little. Later, Naruto found himself trembling all over, and the image of Sasuke covered in curse marks appeared in his mind. I also want to fight with you, and I am eager to try. Naruto's lowered head suddenly lifted up, and Naruto was seen smiling, with a fighting spirit that could not be concealed in his blue eyes. What's so funny? Looking at Naruto's appearance, Sasuke felt quite unhappy. Naruto also changed his usual yelling and said, it's not laughter, it's excitement. Quote? Sasuke was slightly startled. Because I can't help but feel excited when I think that I can finally defeat you here. Sasuke also looked ugly after hearing Naruto's words. You're a low-level person, but you're talking arrogantly. Naruto also retorted. I won't be the tail end of the crane all my life and be an eyesore to you. Sasuke's Sharingan trembled slightly. A mediocre person like you, don't let me get carried away. I didn't expect that you, who is always calm, would become so angry. Could it be that by actively looking for a fight, you are afraid first? Sasuke. Naruto changed his tone of voice and used it for cursing, which in turn angered Sasuke. Whispering sound. Sasuke made a sound of disdain and then rushed towards Naruto. Naruto also raised his fists, facing Sasuke's attack without fear, and faced him. Chapter 45. Multiple Shadow Clone. Chidori. Please collect it. Please send flowers. Please vote for evaluation. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Sasuke quickly threw 3 shurikens, Uchiha Generation Grandmaster Shuriken technique. Sasuke's shurikens are also extremely exquisite. As soon as this move was launched, the direction of the shuriken was directed at Naruto's vital points at an extremely tricky angle. However, Naruto is also worthy of the title of the most unexpected ninja. He directly summoned 2 shadow clone to resist several shurikens. The shuriken pierced the shadow clone, and the intense pain was sent back to the body, but Naruto continued to rush towards Sasuke as if nothing was wrong. Soon arriving in front of Sasuke, Naruto raised his fists and attacked Sasuke crazily. Crazy punches hit Sasuke like a rainstorm. Although Naruto's punches were fast and powerful, Sasuke still relied on the Sharingan to see all of Naruto's movements clearly. Bang, bang. The two fought for several rounds, and Sasuke used the Sharingan to see through Naruto's movements, and punched Naruto directly to break his defense. Seeing that Naruto lost his defense, Sasuke began to pursue the victory and punched Naruto quickly with both fists. Bang, 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 bang. Sasuke punched Naruto one after another, a scary smile appeared on his face, and an indescribable feeling of joy rose in his heart. Little Sakura looked at this scene and covered her eyes in fear, unable to believe that Sasuke would show such an expression. Naruto was also very resistant, and after receiving a few heavy punches, it aroused his inner strength. Ah! He roared, and an unknown force appeared from Naruto's hand, knocking Sasuke high into the air. The forehead protector on Sasuke's forehead was also knocked to the ground. Sasuke looked unhappy, but he didn't expect Naruto to break free from his restraints. At this moment, Naruto picked up the forehead protector on the ground and threw it to Sasuke. What's wrong? Are you scared? Sasuke asked after taking the forehead protector and seeing that Naruto didn't attack. Put on the forehead protector. This commanding tone and attitude immediately made Sasuke feel unhappy. What did you say? I told you to put on the forehead protector. This is a peer-to-peer battle as a Konoha shinobi. Sasuke sneered disdainfully upon hearing Naruto's words. Why do you think that I and you, a jack of all trades, are equal? Naruto frowned and said, I've always thought that I'm no worse than you. Yeah, with that said, Sasuke threw the forehead protector aside, then showed an almost arrogant smile and said. I don't need to wear a forehead protector, because you can't touch a hair on my forehead. Damn it. The repeated contempt made Naruto's anger reach a higher level, and the chakra in his body began to mobilize rapidly. Since taijutsu can't give him an advantage, Naruto plans to use his strengths. I saw Naruto forming a seal with his hands. Seeing this seal, Sasuke's pupils shrank. He was very familiar with this seal, but because of his familiarity, he also knew how terrifying this technique was. Multiple shadow clone technique. Countless white smoke rose up, and hundreds of Naruto appeared, surrounding Sasuke. You are the only one who can use this technique so skillfully. Although Sasuke was dissatisfied with his mouth, he was still quite afraid of this technique in his heart, especially when Naruto used this technique. Dozens of Narutos jumped up high, even blocking the sun's rays. Sasuke. Dozens of Narutos swarmed up, their shouts deafening. However, this still exposed Naruto's lack of combat experience. Dozens versus one had a numerical advantage, but it was too many people. On the contrary, most of the clones felt unable to use their skills. In the end, only a dozen clones fought against Sasuke, but even so, they still had a numerical advantage. However, Sasuke is also worthy of being regarded as Konoha's genius. Even when facing a large number of enemies, he is not afraid at all. Instead, he easily disperses Naruto's clones one by one. Nothing new. Naruto. Sasuke kicked over, and one clone flew down and hit the other clones, all of which turned into white smoke and disappeared. Seeing this, Naruto also knew that such mindless thinking would not be able to help Sasuke. He found a few clones and whispered to them to determine the strategy. While Sasuke was fighting, a grinding sound was heard. Naruto quickly shoveled towards Sasuke with his slide shovel. Sasuke couldn't dodge and his feet were knocked off the ground. Just when Sasuke was about to fall, two figures jumped out from the side and both kicked him. Boom! Sasuke's figure flew in the air. The fourth Naruto calculated his timing and jumped into the air early to wait. He raised his legs high and shouted. Naruto combo. The raised leg fell quickly and was about to hit Sasuke. Suddenly, Sasuke turned around and kicked Naruto away. And the moment before this Naruto dissipated, he also saw clearly that Sasuke was forming seals with his hands, and the last seal he formed was Yin's seal. Sasuke looked at the densely packed Narutos below, and the blood-red Sharingan showed a hint of excitement. Fire-style Great Fireball technique. Sasuke opened his mouth and a huge fireball appeared. The blazing fireball slammed downwards, sucking hundreds of Naruto into it. The power and range of the flames are very large. There are clones who want to escape, but they can't escape the range of the flames. Naruto's clones all turned into white smoke and steamed up. Looking at this scene, the corners of Sasuke's mouth curved. Little Sakura was also frightened by this scene, and she murmured, Naruto. Sasuke looked at the burning fireball and felt a sense of accomplishment in his heart. With such power, he didn't believe that Naruto could still escape unscathed. However, at this time, a sudden change occurred, and the burning fireball suddenly began to change. The fireball began to rotate rapidly, as if a vortex appeared in the center of the fireball. Sasuke's eyes widened, and he realized something was wrong. The next second, as the rotation accelerated, the flames of the fireball quickly disappeared, and two figures suddenly appeared in the remaining firelight. Naruto, and his clone. At this time, a blue, high-speed rotating chakra ball appeared in Naruto's palm. The chakra ball stirred up a whirlwind, which blew away Sasuke's fireball. What kind of technique is this? Sasuke regretted this greatly. He had never seen Naruto perform this technique, but there was no doubt that this technique brought him a great sense of crisis. I won't be worse than you. As he said this, Sasuke formed a seal with his hands, and the next second, blue lightning appeared along with a sound like the chirping of 1,000 birds. With a ferocious look on his face, Naruto kicked off his feet and jumped high into the air towards Sasuke. Sasuke looked at Naruto, the lightning style stimulated his cells, and the speed was particularly fast. Naruto. Little Sakura watched this scene, and 2 lines of tears fell from her cheeks. No, don't do this. She didn't understand how a team that was originally a good team and a team that was harmonious suddenly became like this. Teacher Kakashi, come quickly. Sasuke and Naruto stared at each other, their faces getting closer and closer. The Chidori's thunderbolt illuminated Sasuke's face, and the whirlwind stirred up by the Rasengan blew Naruto's hair. The two reached out at the same time, and the two forces were about to collide. Whizzing. At this time, two figures flew over. Snapped. Snapped. Two hands suddenly grabbed Sasuke and Naruto's wrists. The two were startled at first, and then felt a huge pulling force. Boom. The two forces did not collide, and finally hit the ground, causing a violent explosion. Suddenly, smoke and dust billowed, and little Sakura jumped anxiously, trying to see what was going on. The smoke gradually dissipated, only to see Kakashi and Jiraiya, each holding a person's wrist and guiding Rasengan and Chidori to the ground. Chapter 46. Sasuke's unwillingness. Please give me flowers. Please give me a review vote. Please give me a collection. Very good. Little Sakura was relieved to see that nothing happened to Sasuke and Naruto. Sasuke looked at the ground. The hole he had made was ferocious and broken, and the area was very large. He turned to look at Naruto and saw that the crater created by Naruto was a very regular circle, only 1/3 of his size. This couldn't help but make him feel happy. Sasuke, who taught you to use this technique to treat your companions? Kakashi pulled Sasuke up from the ground, his tone serious. Sasuke didn't answer Kakashi, but looked at Naruto with a victor's smile. Sasuke's attention was focused on the potholes. The Chidori caused more damage than the Rasengan. He thought this battle was already won. Jiraiya looked at Naruto without saying anything. Naruto's expression was very downcast. In fact, Naruto regretted it the moment he used Rasengan on Sasuke. He was so overwhelmed by fighting spirit that he completely forgot about Jiraiya's previous reminder. Jiraiya also saw Naruto's guilt and said, "It's good that you realize this. Such a technique must not be aimed at your companions." Hearing Jiraiya's words, Naruto's lonely expression forced a smile. Kakashi covered his forehead. Just a few days after leaving Class 7, something like this happened to Class 7. He is Hokage now. The current situation in the ninja world is so tense, and the workload is naturally very heavy. He finally got lazy and came out to see his disciples, but he didn't expect to encounter such a thing. Jiraiya patted Naruto and said, "As a ninja, you must endure what others cannot tolerate. Naruto, go and form the seal of reconciliation with Sasuke." Glancing at Sasuke, Naruto took a deep breath and walked towards Sasuke with a calm expression. Jiraiya couldn't help but feel relieved when he saw Naruto's performance. Naruto was finally not so impulsive. Sasuke, Kakashi reminded, motioning for Sasuke to go over and make the seal of reconciliation. However, Sasuke didn't seem to hear anything. He just glanced at the pothole and said to Naruto who was walking over, "The tail end of the crane is the tail end of the crane after all. I won this battle." After saying that, while Naruto was stunned, Sasuke walked away without looking back. At least listen to the Hokage. At this time, Kakashi discovered Sasuke's forehead protector on the ground. He picked it up and wanted to return it to Sasuke, but found that Sasuke had already disappeared. In fact, Sasuke didn't leave too far. He jumped to a big tree not far away and observed everything. When he saw Naruto's slightly lonely look, Sasuke showed a proud look. He thought that Naruto was upset that he couldn't beat him, which made Sasuke's heart swell again. "Naruto, you are still no match for, after all." However, before he could finish his victory confession, he heard a roar, and the small crater originally created by Naruto with the Rasengan collapsed. Under the surface, there are circles of deep spiral patterns. Obviously, all this was caused by Naruto's blow just now. Wah, what? Looking at the pothole that was far larger than himself, Sasuke once again showed an unwilling look. His face was so gloomy that it dripped water, and he left in a flash. "Jiraiya-sama, it's too early for you to teach Naruto this jutsu." Kakashi looked at the hole made by Naruto. If they hadn't taken action in time, Naruto's blow would have probably severely injured Sasuke. The world today is different from the past, Hokage-sama. Jiraiya was naturally referring to Uchiha Xiao, who was still missing. Although the current ninja world is peaceful on the surface, under the agitation of Uchiha Xiao, undercurrents have already surged, and a war is very possible. Chapter 47. Hokage, Kakashi. Mount Myoboku. Please give me flowers. Please give me a review vote. Please give me a collection. Hokage-sama. Haha, please stop making fun of me. Kakashi scratched his cheek in embarrassment. He didn't think that his Hokage had much value. It was just that there was no one left, so he went up to take his place. Kakashi looked up at the sky, and finally let out a feeble sigh. I really want to live a life where I just watch intimate love in paradise every day. Jiraiya smiled and said, "Even if you live like that, I can't write a new book now." "It's okay, I can't get enough of Jiraiya-sama's books," Kakashi said sincerely, and at this time, he also spotted little Sakura not far away who was feeling sad alone. Little Sakura was still crying silently, and Kakashi walked up to little Sakura. "Mr. Kakashi, why did this happen?" It was always good, but after the person named Uchiha Xiao appeared, everything was different. Kakashi squatted down and said in a gentle tone, I'm going to enlighten Sasuke now. Little Sakura, it's okay. It will be the same as before. Thank you, Mr. Kakashi. Sakura said, wiping her tears. Smiling, Kakashi's body flashed towards Sasuke's house. Sasuke, you should be fine. Naruto looked at where Sasuke left and said worriedly. Although he had been very happy with the fight just now, after the war, he still felt that something was wrong with Sasuke. Sasuke just now did not simply want a duel. At this time, Jiraiya patted Naruto on the shoulder and said, it's okay. Kakashi has already chased him. Sasuke will be fine. You should worry about yourself now. Naruto didn't quite understand what Jiraiya meant, but he was also aware of his weakness. He looked at his palms and slowly clenched them into fists. Obviously, I have practiced Rasengan in 3 days and completed the bet, but Granny Tsunade can't see it. A drop of cold sweat fell from Jiraiya's forehead, as if Tsunade was dead. He patted Naruto on the head and said, I will handle Tsunade's matters myself. Don't worry, your current strength cannot touch these things. Hearing this, Naruto looked a little downcast, but soon, his eyes regained their brightness and his whole person became excited again. Okay, then I will become stronger quickly, and then beat that Uchiha Xiao to a pulp. I will avenge Grandpa 3rd Generation and Gaara. Then I will rescue Granny Tsunade, and then let her know that I practiced Rasengan in 3 days. Jiraiya looked at Naruto's bold words and felt happy in his heart. One thing he admired about Naruto was that no matter what setbacks he encountered, Naruto could smile from the adversity and fly into the sky. Little Sakura couldn't help but burst into tears as she listened to Naruto's outrageous yet confident words. Although what he said was a bit outrageous, seeing Naruto cheer up again, Jiraiya also said happily. Very good. That's what I meant, so the day to go to Mount Myoboku will be moved up. Is Naruto leaving? After getting along for so long, little Sakura's attitude towards Naruto changed from boredom to sincerely thinking that Naruto is a good friend. Mount Myoboku. What place is it? Is it a hot spring? Naruto asked confused. No, you will know when the time comes. Little Sakura, I have something to tell you. Yes. Little Sakura was stunned for a moment, and then responded in confusion. She had nothing to do with Jiraiya, so why did she suddenly call her? Kakashi said that you have good talent for illusions, so he arranged for you to temporarily join Yuhi Kurenai's team. He left in a hurry and forgot to mention it. Let me remind you. Little Sakura, who originally thought she was left alone, nodded happily when she heard this. Thank you Jiraiya-sama. Jiraiya smiled and nodded, then pulled Naruto and said, okay, kid, let's prepare our things first, we will set off soon. Okay. Naruto raised his fist and made an excited voice. Little Sakura also looked at Naruto's back and waved to the two of them, while she secretly swore in her heart. She must catch up with Sasuke and Naruto. She no longer wants to just look at the backs of the two of them, she, Haruno Sakura, wants to stand side by side with the three of them. Chapter 48. Uchiha Xiao's body. Sasuke's ambition. Please give me flowers. Please give me a review vote. Please give me a collection. Sasuke was sitting on a big tree, leaning on the trunk, thinking about something in his mind. At this time, he thought of Uchiha Itachi again, and the scenes of the night of genocide appeared in front of him again. Stupid brother, if you want to kill me, hate, then live an ugly life. Run away, and live an ignoble existence. Boom. Sasuke slammed his fist on the tree trunk nearby. As the old tree shook, countless leaves began to fall. Whoosh. There was a sudden noise, and Sasuke was suddenly tied up with an iron wire. What? Sasuke tried to break free from the iron wires, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't break free. A figure suddenly appeared in front of Sasuke. When Sasuke saw it clearly, a trace of irritation appeared on his face. Kakashi, what are you doing? In order to prevent you from running away, and I am Hokage now, please be more respectful in your tone. Looking at the unruly Sasuke, Kakashi felt a headache. Sasuke turned his face and said nothing. Kakashi sighed and said, Sasuke, let's forget about revenge or anything like that. What? Sasuke asked sharply with an ugly face. Kakashi said with a normal face. I have been a ninja for so many years, and I have seen too many people like you. People who often talk about revenge will not end well. If you do this, you will only hurt yourself more and suffer more. Even if your revenge is successful, there will only be emptiness left. Kakashi said, his eyes seemed to be looking at Sasuke, but his mind was stuck in some memories. Sasuke gritted his teeth and shouted, shut up. What do you know? Stop pretending to understand and talking nonsense. Kakashi sighed and said, okay, calm down. Looking at Kakashi's calm eyes, Sasuke said with an angry smile, okay, what if I kill the person you cherish the most now? You will know firsthand how ridiculous what you said is. Kakashi said calmly, well, that's fine, but no one I cherish is here anymore. Then, Kakashi put on a smile. They were all killed. Upon hearing this, Sasuke's pupils shrank and he swallowed all the words he wanted to say. Kakashi continued. I am older than you, have experienced worse times, and have experienced the pain of loss countless times. Sasuke listened blankly, not knowing what he was thinking. Neither you nor I are lucky people, but among these misfortunes, there is also luck. Haven't I and you found important partners? Hearing this, Sasuke's heart trembled slightly, and the faces of Naruto and little Sakura flashed in his mind. It is precisely because of loss that we know how to cherish. Chidori teaches you not to face your companions. Sasuke didn't answer, just lowered his head, not knowing what he was thinking. When Kakashi saw that it was almost done, he said, well, am I right? Think about it carefully. By the way, I still have something to tell you. I announce that the 7th shift is temporarily off duty. As soon as he finished speaking, Sasuke finally raised his head and looked at Kakashi. Naruto is going to practice with Master Jiraiya. Little Sakura, I have arranged for her to go to Kurenai Yuhi's class. After I finish my work on Hokage, I will also guide you in your practice. Do you understand? In fact, Kakashi did not say the reason why Team 7 was off duty. It was mainly because of Naruto. Uchiha Xiao seemed to be collecting tailed beasts, and a powerful organization called Akatsuki was also collecting tailed beasts. It can be said that it is very dangerous for Naruto to go out of the village to perform tasks during this time period. However, Sasuke didn't know this. When he heard that Naruto was going to train with Jiraiya, his inner unwillingness arose again. Jiraiya is one of the famous Sannin in the ninja world. If you follow Jiraiya to practice, you will definitely make great progress. Sasuke is unbalanced. Why can Naruto get guidance from one of the Sannin, while he can only receive occasional guidance from Kakashi's spare time? Why can Naruto become stronger step by step without any burden for his stupid dream of becoming a Hokage? But he was burdened with the pain of genocide and the desire for revenge, but he still stood still. Sasuke couldn't understand it, but he couldn't bear the fact that his strength and Naruto's were growing little by little. Okay, think about it carefully whether what I just said is correct or not. I have to go back to process the documents. After saying that, Kakashi left with a body flicker technique. And Sasuke, after staying for a while, walked back home in despair. He walked towards the empty Uchiha mansion and saw the Uchiha clan emblem peeling off bit by bit on the high wall, and the flame of revenge arose in his heart. However, soon, the happy memories of staying with Naruto's little Sakura also came to mind. As if entangled in a net, Sasuke walked aimlessly in the Uchiha tribe's land, dragging his entangled mind with him. When he came to his senses, Sasuke found himself inside Uchiha's shrine. Have you come this far? Muttering in his mouth, Sasuke walked out. When he reached a tatami, a strange touch suddenly made him alert. Sasuke, who was a little dazed, suddenly regained consciousness. Sasuke leaned down and knocked on the tatami under his feet a few times, and the clear echo confirmed Sasuke's inner suspicion. Click. The tatami was moved away by Sasuke, and what came into view was a long staircase and endless darkness. Sasuke walked slowly down, and every time he passed a section of wall on both sides, a ball of fire would light up, illuminating the stairs. Sasuke was puzzled and excited. He had never known that there was a secret passage under the Uchiha shrine, and Sasuke guessed that there was probably a secret room at the end of the stairs. This secret room may very well contain the secret of Uchiha becoming stronger. Although it is only possible, it is also very exciting for Sasuke, who was anxious to become stronger. Soon, the stairs came to an end, and as Sasuke expected, there was a secret room at the end. Although Sasuke was excited, he was still cautious. After entering the secret room, he was afraid that there might be some trap in the secret room. But the people who built this secret passage and secret room seemed to be very relieved about it. The secret room is not big, and overall the secret room is very simple, with only one thing placed in the middle. It was a transparent crystal coffin. The sides of the crystal coffin were covered with various spells and seals. Sasuke walked over and looked at the appearance of the deceased. With just one glance, Sasuke felt as if he received an electric shock. He looked at the body in the coffin. A name uttered from trembling lips. Uchiha Xiao. Sasuke was confused. He didn't expect to find Uchiha Xiao's body here. He looked around, and his excellent ninja ability told him that no one had been here for a long time at least. In other words, it is very possible that he is the only one who knows the burial place of Uchiha Xiao. Sasuke turned around and wanted to go out and tell Kakashi and the others, but soon, his footsteps stopped. He looked at Uchiha Xiao's coffin and struggled in his heart. If he continues to stay in Konoha, he thinks that his strength will not increase much, and he will pay any price to become stronger. He didn't know if the body was of use to Uchiha Xiao, but since it hadn't been taken away, it was very likely that Uchiha Xiao didn't know where the body was. In this case, a bold idea came to Sasuke's mind. Maybe I can use this body to trade with Uchiha Xiao and gain powerful power. The Susanoo cast by Uchiha Xiao appeared in Sasuke's mind. That kind of destructive ability can definitely kill that man. Chapter 49. Tsunade's answer, the wrong ninja world. Please give me flowers. Please give me a review vote. Please give me a collection. How have you considered it? Uchiha Xiao's figure appeared from the darkness, and Tsunade was used to this kind of silent and almost rude behavior. Isn't it the third day yet? Tsunade asked Uchiha Xiao. You already have the answer in your heart. Tsunade's heart trembled. This man seemed to be able to see through her heart every time. Tsunade closed her eyes in pain. Dan, Naoki, Shizune. These three people are the people who have been with Tsunade for the longest time and have the deepest bond. Uchiha Xiao used them as the terms of the deal, which really hit Tsunade's core. I agree to your conditions. After saying that, Tsunade sighed deeply, as if he had no strength, and his whole body became a little rickety. Uchiha Xiao was not surprised at all by Tsunade's answer. If Tsunade is the only one who was caught, it is very likely that Tsunade will not agree. She is already prepared to die for the village. But as long as you find someone who has a deep bond with Tsunade as a condition, Tsunade is likely to agree. At this time, Tsunade's expression returned to normal slightly. She looked at Uchiha Xiao and asked, "Why are you resurrected?" She had wanted to ask this question for a long time, and it was only now that the partnership was officially established that Tsunade asked. What do you think of the ninja village created by Hashirama? Uchiha Xiao asked. Tsunade Kaido. Grandpa's ninja village system ended the troubled times of Sengoku. During the Sengoku period, the average lifespan of a ninja was only 30 years old, but now it is much higher than that. Uchiha Xiao smiled and said, "Do you really agree with these words?" Tsunade frowned and asked, "What do you mean?" Uchiha Xiao said, "In the more than 60 years since the ninja village system was established, there have only been 3 ninja world wars. But I have never seen a battle of the scale of the ninja world war during the Sengoku period. You know what I mean. Is that so? Although the ninja village system contributed to the progress of the ninja world, it also expanded the scale of the war and caused unprecedented casualties. However, the original intention of the ninja village system is peace." Tsunade also understood what Uchiha Xiao meant, but she still said unconvinced, "Then do you have any good solution? War is inevitable." Uchiha Xiao crossed her chest and asked, "Let me ask you, why did the fighting break out between the ninja villages?" Tsunade naturally understands this problem. In order to compete for resources. Uchiha Xiao said, "Yes, the competition for resources, then think about it, did the ninjas of Konoha fight because of the competition for tasks?" Tsunade shook his head, "Of course not. Konoha as a whole, under the leadership of Hokage and a group of cronies, even if someone wants to break out a conflict, it will be stopped immediately. Just like the Uchiha clan, as long as the rebellious thoughts are present, the severe punishment will befall the Uchiha." After hearing this, Tsunade seemed to understand what Uchiha Xiao meant, and said, "What you mean is not to become the shadow of the ninja village, but to become the shadow of the ninja world." Uchiha Xiao said, "If the entire ninja world is unified, then internal wars over resources are very ridiculous. Even you are not free from the consequences of this ridiculous war, right?" Tsunade knew what Uchiha Xiao was talking about. It was because of the war between villages for resources, that Naoki and Dankai died, and she also acquired hemophobia. Seeing Tsunade thinking deeply, Uchiha Xiao increased his voice and said, "All the big countries are united into one country, and I will be the ruler of this country, a country, and a voice. Only in this way can we end the war." Tsunade listened to Uchiha Xiao's words. She wanted to refute, but she couldn't think of anything to refute. After a while, Tsunade retorted without confidence, "But ninjas should be free. You can't force them to accept your system." Uchiha Xiao shook her head. Tsunade's level of understanding was still too low. At the same time, her superior status also determined that she would unconsciously maintain her own class. Uchiha Xiao understands this, and what he has to do is break down these classes. Soon, Tsunade started research work, and the resurrection of suspension and Naoki inspired Tsunade to speed up. Tsunade was working in an orderly manner, while Uchiha Xiao was watching with interest. At this time, a person walked in. A ninja came in, wearing a ninja vest from Cloud Shinobi Village. This is certainly not an uninvited guest. This ninja was controlled by Uchiha Xiao using illusions not long ago. As a ninja in Cloud Shinobi Village, he naturally became an undercover agent to deliver information to Uchiha Xiao in Cloud Shinobi Village. After Tsunade glanced at it, he continued his research work. This Cloud Shinobi had a respectful attitude and reported, "Master Xiao, there has been no trace of Eight Tails Jinchuriki in Cloud Shinobi Village. Killer Bee is usually very high profile, and from time to time he will play rap songs on the street to disturb people. Reikage often receives complaints from villagers. But now, Killer Bee has not appeared in the village for a long time." Cloud Shinobi continued, "Reikage also sent a large number of ninjas out to look for traces of Master Xiao, and held a meeting of the 5 shadows, saying that they would avenge the death of Wooden Golem." Uchiha Xiao sneered. "Reikage, you irritable brat. During his lifetime, he killed a generation of Reikage, and just like the current Reikage, he had a violent temper and quick and decisive actions." Uchiha Xiao did not expect to know the traces of 8 tails. After one tail was conquered by him one after another, tailed beasts Jinchuriki in the entire ninja world were probably under strict control, and 8 tails was certainly no exception. Since the traces of Eight Tails were not obvious, Uchiha Xiao did not rush to search. After all, Eight Tails still has some strength, and it is naturally possible to conquer them, but troubles and accidents are issues that need to be considered after all, so Uchiha Xiao's idea is not to consider them. He is not that eager for tailed beasts. For him, tailed beasts are only a temporary substitute after all. His ultimate goal is to be completely resurrected. At this time, I saw several figures coming in from the door one after another. They were wearing various ninja vests. They were obviously ninjas from the big and small ninja villages in the ninja world. There is no doubt that they are also Uchiha Xiao's puppet. However, what these puppets are investigating is not the whereabouts of the tailed beasts in each village, but what Uchiha Xiao is most concerned about at the moment. His corpse. However, these ninjas found no relevant traces or information, as if Uchiha Xiao's body had just disappeared from the world. However, although he did not have the information he wanted, Uchiha Xiao still learned some other information. All major ninja villages are investigating the whereabouts of Uchiha Xiao. Oh, the 5 great ninja villages, I haven't dealt with them for a long time. After thinking for a while, Uchiha Xiao issued an order to these ninjas and continued to search for his body. Then with an order, these ninjas all dispersed. Tsunade felt very uneasy as he listened to the movement behind him. Uchiha Xiao's illusion ability is so terrifying that he can control so many ninjas for a long time without being discovered by the outside world. There is no one in the ninja world with such illusion ability that can match him. If it weren't for Tsunade's powerful Hashirama bloodline, she would still be doing research for Uchiha Xiao in a muddle-headed manner. Uchiha Xiao and Tsunade were left in the laboratory again, and at this moment, Uchiha Xiao suddenly stood up from the chair. What's wrong? Tsunade quickly looked at Uchiha Xiao. Uchiha Xiao waved his hand, signaling Tsunade to continue studying, while his eyes were fixed on the door. There seemed to be a familiar smell on the other side of the door. The breath of Uchiha. Chapter 50. Obito. Uchiha Xiao wants to kill me. Please give me flowers. Please give me a review vote. Please give me a collection. Buzz. With a strange noise, a twisted space appeared, and a masked man walked out of it. In front of him was the entrance of a cave, and he was about to walk into the cave entrance. The next second, Uchiha Xiao's figure appeared behind him. Oh my, it's so fast. The masked man spoke in such a frivolous tone that no one could tell that he was a ninja. Uchiha Xiao looked at the masked man. He was indeed a member of the Uchiha tribe. There were many differences between real Uchiha people and Kakashi, Danzo and the like. Seeing that Uchiha Xiao didn't respond, the masked man continued, Master Xiao, are my eyes useful? Uchiha Xiao did not directly answer the masked man's question, but revealed the masked man's identity in one sentence. Uchiha Obito, what do you want from me? Others may wonder about the identity of the masked man, but as a time traveler, Uchiha Xiao naturally knows that the masked man is Uchiha Obito. Obito, who originally wanted to maintain a lively personality, suddenly became silent. He did not expect that Uchiha Xiao actually knew his identity. I'm afraid not many people in Konoha remember the name Uchiha Obito. But Uchiha Xiao, a newly resurrected person, not only knows Uchiha Obito, but also knows that he is Obito. Obito couldn't help but feel horrified. The atmosphere fell into a brief silence, but Obito was the first to break the silence and said, although you know my identity, I still introduce you formally. I am Uchiha Obito. Mr. Xiao, your appearance disrupted my mood. The plan. Then what? Obito sighed mentally. Uchiha Xiao was indeed as cold as the legend. Seeing that Uchiha Xiao is not one of those who likes to take twists and turns, Obito plans to go straight to the point. Uchiha Xiao, what is your purpose of catching the tailed beast? Just when Obito spit out the last note, suddenly, a burst of pressure suddenly came from Uchiha Xiao. In an instant, the ground cracked, and Obito felt as if there were many heavy objects pressing on him. What a powerful pressure. What qualifications do you have to ask me? No one has ever taught you to respect your elders. Uchiha Xiao attaches great importance to the Uchiha family, but there are only 2 people he dislikes, and that is Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Obito. Regarding the night of genocide, the consensus among the entire ninja world is that Uchiha Itachi killed the entire family by himself, but Uchiha Xiao knew that it was impossible for one Itachi alone to kill the entire family. And Uchiha Obito was the driving force behind the completion of this night of genocide, and was also a major contributor to participating in the genocide. The family that Rina worked so hard to protect was destroyed by the inexplicable thoughts of 2 of her own clan. A faint murderous aura emerged from the pressure. This guy really wants to kill me. Obito was shocked, he really felt a killing intent from Uchiha Xiao. The pressure gradually increased, and just when Obito couldn't bear it anymore and wanted to use Kamui to escape, the powerful pressure disappeared. Obito was breathing heavily. He hadn't felt like this in a long time. He was confused about Uchiha Xiao's murderous intention. Logically speaking, he and Uchiha Xiao had never met, so how could there be such a deep hatred? Moreover, he remembered that Uchiha Xiao valued people of his own race very much. How could he treat him like this? At this time, an impossible idea appeared in Obito's mind. Does he know about that? It's impossible. I participated in the genocide. Only Itachi and Zetsu should know about it. Obito's mind was racing, thinking about why Uchiha Xiao was so hostile to him.